next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
It's Crunch Time on Woodward Sports, 11 to 1 weekdays. I'm your host, Jeff Iafrate. I got my co-host over there, Booner. We got KG. KG is back.
Yeah.
Let's go, KG.
Shout out Alex, man. He held it down yesterday, but we got our guy back. All right, that's one of us. We got Caleb Czarnik as well.
What up?
TDing as always. We got a packed show today. It's Wednesday, which you people know what time it is, what day of the week it is. It's the day of the doc. We're going to be joined by John Maakaron, the publisher of Detroit Lions on Sports Illustrated, to give his thoughts on OTAs, storylines heading into OTAs. We're going to talk OTAs today. We'll talk some Pistons later in the show as well. And we do have some Tigers to talk about because I don't know if you guys have already checked out or not, but the last 30 games, the Tigers are 8-22. And was the last couple games to you guys like when was it? When did you guys check out officially? Are you still in? Are you checked out?
Well,
because I've seen people on Twitter saying I've been done, I don't care, and then there's people that are saying I'm out now, and then there's some people that say I'm still in.
I ran into this issue. I don't know if I'm the only one that had this issue, but I was in on the Tigers up until like this last weekend, and in our Woodward chat, everyone's I had doubleheader who's watching, and I was like I'm out. Yeah. I'm not watching this team anymore. I can't put myself through this anymore. And I didn't watch on Sunday the doubleheader, so I waited. And then last night I got home. I left here about 6:30. I get home, turn the TV on, eat dinner. I'm sitting there watching the game, and I'm like, this is awesome. They're up 6-4. I'm sitting there going, this is what Tigers baseball is all about. And then all of a sudden,
Grand slam.
That play by Matt Braylon wasn't awesome.
Oh, dude, Wenzel Perez misses a catch. And I was like, this is exactly why I decided last week not to watch them any longer. And I just, I shut it off. I saw Neil's text in the group chat, just the okay. And then I was like, all right, I might be fully out.
No, Neil was vulnerable yesterday. He literally texted our group chat and asked, is it over, guys? Honestly, is it over?
So I told you two boys, because KG and Caleb, I think, are our resident Tigers guys.
Appreciate that.
So
right.
I had this thought process this morning. I think we could be like, hey, the season's over, it's dead, whatever. Like, hey, it's over, we're out. There's no way you catch up. I kind of went a step further, and I think, like, with this current roster, like, I wanted to ask you boys, like, is this whole roster as we know it that Scott Harris has built, I guess, but outside of, like, you know, the Torques, the Riley?
Yeah.
Are we done with that? Like, is it time for, I don't want to say, like, a full fresh rebuild, but like a reset button here with this roster and say, hey, we have some young guys, Dylan Dingler, Kevin McGonigal, that we'll ride with. Everyone else is up for sale. Like, we're out on everyone.
It appears to be heading that way, unfortunately. And I was kind of out when Scuba went down because he was the only one that could stop the bleeding. Like, if you went on a losing streak, you know when the Scuba start came, okay, not to say it's an auto dub, but you know, okay, I'm only going to give up 1 to 2 runs that day, and I just need the offense to kind of come along. But now that he's gone and they have dug themselves this hole, I've been checked out for a couple weeks, and it's sad because I had a bad feeling about this season. The overlooming Terry Scuba thing was one thing, but then you just look at they didn't really add to this offense. It's been the same offense for the last 3 years. Kevin McGonigal was a revelation, and God bless the kid, but you're relying on a rookie. Also, you know, Javi going down, Glaber going down. Now you're having setbacks with those injuries. Right. It's just nothing is going right for this Tigers team, and let alone just the team in general on the field. What does that locker room look like right now? Like, that locker room has got to be in fucking misery. AJ Hinch has no answers. I know everybody gets mad. Why you throwing this kid out there? What is he supposed to do? Like, the Matt Veerland play was disgusting. Sean was up here this morning like, I'd have just took him out the game. Who are you going to take him out the game for?
That's fair. You know, actually a good point, and I'm going to stay consistent with this because I did the same thing with JB Bickerstaff after the Pistons loss. I know playoffs and regular season is different.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're AJ Hinch, like, you got to say something. You got to call someone out. Like I'm talking about media-wise.
Right.
You got to go in the media and start being like, hey, this guy.
I think we beyond that, bro.
But
AJ
you're
Hinch
already
not that
there.
guy.
You're already the worst team in baseball. You already have guys that don't want to play. Why not just go look the cameras in the eyes?
Yelling and calling people out ain't going to help.
But not. You're already the worst.
I hear you.
So you have literally, at that point, would you have to lose to go to the media and say, we're terrible. Guys don't give effort. Maybe that will light a little fire under some guys.
You don't have
anything you haven't done
lose.
that.
You know what that sometimes comes off though as not taking accountability.
Well, do both.
Yeah. It's like if you just come out and be like, yeah, this blame a bunch of people, they're gonna be like, oh, AJ, new story, AJ Hinch,
I think as a fan,
blame.
I would rather the manager or the coach to go out and call guys. It was the same thing with JB where I said, hey, call out their effort.
That's not
just go out there and call guys out.
Yeah, the only thing, speaking of calling,
I need to hear
Scott Harris, call every contender and ask, what do you want and what's the price? All right, let's start dumping guys.
But this is why I'm mad as a Tigers fan. I'll let Caleb go too. It's just, man, we were sold this dream this season that this was supposed to be a pseudo World Series or bust type of season.
Yes.
You finally paid some money to somebody. You didn't improve your offense, but you did bring in Framber Valdez. You brought in Verlander, one really good pitcher and one guy that, may still have some in the tank. But they were supposed to help you win ball games. And you could have traded Skubal 2 years ago and got a bevy of prospects and maybe even an everyday player in there. But now teams know you got to trade them if this bottoms out. And it's like you're going to get pennies on the dollar. So I'm kind of sick as a fan because this is what the fuck we headed towards. And now it looks like you need a full-blown rebuild because Scott Harris ain't about to keep trotting these Alavila, guys out here. They haven't signed Riley Green.
That's why I think it's time. It's like, hey, it's time to blow the thing up, essentially.
It's bad.
Keep just you have your core, your young core, 2 or 3 guys, and then just blow everything else up.
Yeah, go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, here's where I am with it, and I'll keep it short and sweet. Well, let's start with yesterday. This is a get-right series. You're playing the Angels, who are playing just as bad as baseball as you are. They were the worst team in the American League, you being the second. That was before yesterday's game. And you blew it. At home, I don't care what happens the rest of this series. This is where you maybe could have turned the season around. You win a couple games in a row at home. Nope, you fucking blew it. Like you do. They find ways to lose like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
This season, that was the nail in the coffin for me. This season is beyond over. And here's where I'm at with it. Look, I feel nasty saying it. People got to start losing jobs in this organization, whether it's the players, if you have to DFA a guy like Jack Flaherty, if you have to get rid of guys like Wenzel Perez and Jahmai Jones. I don't care about the home run that Wenzel Perez hit yesterday. I don't care about the RBI single that Jahmai Jones hit yesterday. People need to start losing jobs, and I don't know how you go about that. Do you start from the top with Scott Harris because he has put
He's
together
not going anywhere.
This is a horribly constructed roster, and I am tired of hearing about the young guys. I'm sick and tired of it. We've seen one graduate from the minors, and that's Kevin McGonigal, and he's going to be one of the better players in baseball, so he succeeded there. But I'm tired of hearing about the young guys. I'm tired of hearing about internal growth from Scott Harris. He does nothing to bring in MLB talent. Look at the trade deadline last year. Charlie fucking Morton. What are we talking about right now? Who else did he bring in?
The sheriff. I forgot
Finnegan,
his name.
fine.
Finnegan was all right.
But then look at the free agency, too. Like, okay, Framber, yeah, that was cool, but what did you do to jolt this offense, an offense that needed some firepower? You bring Gleyber Torres back and you just count on a guy like Kevin McGonigal, a rookie, to really carry this offense? It's pathetic, and again, I feel nasty saying it, but this says, look at the Red Sox. They didn't meet their expectations this year. They were in the same boat as us, that they were going to be a team, kind of a fringe World Series team. They were going to flirt with an American League pennant, and they fired their entire staff, hitting coach, manager, AAA coach. They fired everybody, and I've been a defender of A.J. Hinch, and I know he's being dealt a bad hand, but at some point, people need to start losing their jobs because this has been absolutely horrendous start to the season. Season's over. That was the nail in the coffin last night.
I don't even think, too, by the way, like the A.J. Hinch, he's been dealt the bad hand. This just goes back to the point of, like, if it was a simple, hey, you're just not good enough, okay, it comes down to there are just effort plays. That's it. Like, there are just times where it's effort. Like, the throw yesterday was at Zach McKinstry. Like, dude, that's an effort thing.
Like you said, the Wenzel Perez, that was a playable ball.
Yeah, like, these are things where it's like, hey, as a major league player, you should be making those plays. And it's not talent because we've seen some of these guys make those plays. So it's like, for me, it's like, hey, this isn't a thing where it's like, hey, you don't fully have the talent. We've seen you guys lose players and still kind of hold afloat. You're not even holding afloat. You're not even treading water. You are like at the bottom of the bay right now, and your ship sunk, and you're sitting there and you're still kind of doing the same thing, and no one's coming. The issue that I have too, it's like no one in the organization, like you're talking about firing people. Has anyone even heard anyone from the organization come out and say something negative or like actually be like, hey,
no,
like it's always
Scott Harris ain't going nowhere, yo.
And that's the issue. It's like no one's saying anything as well, and that's the issue I have. It's like, dude, you're on a generational right now collapse of what's happening. It's bad. Like, you are one of the worst teams in baseball when you were supposed to be one of the best, and now and no one in that organization has a word to say. No one?
And I'm not using the injuries as an excuse. You can't, because from July on of last year, you are one of the worst teams in baseball. This is offensively, yes, you've put together a pretty good pitching staff outside of a few guys. Flaherty and other guys have, Holton's been pretty terrible. All these guys have been pretty horrible in the bullpen. But offensively, I think this is just who you are as an offense. I think this is the roster that Scott Harris put together. I don't know if he's, I mean, from what it sounds like, he's putting all of his faith in guys, like a Bryce Rayner or a Max Clark.
Guys.
But I'm sick and tired of that. Put some MLB talent out there.
I want to get to some comments. Aaron Green says the Tigers had one job to do, which was to bridge the gap to football, and they failed miserably.
It's the worst. We literally have nothing this summer now.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like it's going to be. It's a what is it called? We're walking corpse.
Yeah.
Going to football.
Rake
season.
in the chat says, I think last night was my last straw. I'll check in, but won't go out of my way to watch.
No,
I
tweeted it last night. I think that Will Vest grand slam he gave up last night was the last pitch I'm going to watch for a long fucking time, just for my mental health.
Yeah.
I'm a mental health guy, and my mental health will be very poor if I keep watching this.
Facts.
What is this the time of the year we bring up Mr. Pizza, or what are we doing? Are we bringing up?
No,
I'm out. I said I was going to try and fix them. I was going to bring back the home run celebration. I'm out on it.
That pizza stick ain't.
I'm fully out. I'm not helping
No.
the Tigers. They need to help themselves. AJ Hinch, someone needs to step up and help.
The man at
hard
the
ass
top.
pizza.
The man at the top, Mr. Pizza.
Well, the thing is, Chris Illich spent some money though.
Spent some money, but
One guy.
He did, but at the end of the day, it's like he did spend some money. It's not like he sat back and did nothing. He did. People asked for different moves, and he technically he was like, "Hey, we'll pay guys money. We'll do it."
Fromber was a Band-Aid to cover up the fact you're not re-signing Scooble.
Do we know that it's Chris Illich saying, no, I don't want to spend the money, or is it Scott Harris being like, I don't want to go get more bats. I don't want to do this. I like what we have. I trust the guys in the building. Yeah. We love to develop. Or is it Chris Illich that's doing it?
I think it's both. That's a
And that's an
there's
issue.
much more of a
issue.
sample size with one of those guys.
That's a big issue. That means that they both are on the same wavelength.
To spend.
And they're bad.
Which is why Scott Harris isn't going anywhere.
That's the issue.
He's doing what Chris wants him to do.
That's worst case scenario. Honestly, for a sports franchise, I think it's worst case scenario. When you're in the dumps and you're bad, and your owner is in lockstep with your GM, and your GM might be the issue.
Complicit,
you're in no man's land at that point.
I mean, it's the same. There's a common denominator between the Wings, who do the same thing as the Tigers. It's all building internally and drafting, and you have trouble getting, for the Wings, NHL ready talent. It's the same thing, and the common denominator there is Illich. Is that the way Illich wants to run his teams? I understand that he spent some money on Fromber, but it's there's a coincidence there for the two guys.
The Wings made a trade for Kevin Falk. You saw how that worked out.
Yeah,
but they finally made a trade.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Maybe it is Chris Illich.
Draft, develop, and don't do much in free agency, or at least the guys in free agency don't really do much. Either way, let's go to break. When we get back, we'll talk about OTAs.
We're out on Tigers
Lions.
talk.
And
Please.
we'll get to the super chats as well. We're live from the Planet Fitness Studios. Before we go to break, though, I got to tell you about those. That Planet Fitness Studios. But Planet Fitness specifically, because it's for everyone. 50-plus Metro Detroit locations. Planet Fitness is for everyone, even you, Scott Harris. Over 2,700 clubs nationwide with 50 in Metro Detroit. Access to the Blackheart Spa, where you can recover with the hydro massage, which I love, by the way, or other innovative amenities. Bring a free guest anytime, just for $24.99 a month. We're all strong on this planet, Planet Fitness.
Woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus, Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
All right, let me tell you about Massage Chair House. Looking to take your relaxation to the next level, then you've got to check out Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest. They carry top brands like Infinity and Osaki, making it the go-to destination for premium comfort and cutting-edge wellness technology. Be sure to visit Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, creator of the #1 YouTube channel for massage chair reviews at the Wellness Doc. Book your visit today at massagechairhouse.com or simply scan the QR code on your screen. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
8-8.
8-8. All right.
Caleb's still learning producing. Like he's still
doing a damn good job.
No, he's doing a damn good job. We just gave him crap because he was counting down. He said 8 twice.
Right.
He said 10,
it's just
9.
It's so stupid. It's so meaningless. It doesn't even matter, but it's just funny.
8-8.
He's like 9, 8. 8.
I forgot.
7. I was like, wait, why did we get 2 8s?
No, Memorial Day's got me on. My brain's not going to turn on until Thursday. That's tomorrow.
That's
so.
fair. And the Tigers, too, the whole
Yeah.
situation with the Tigers. That's
I'm in a
understandable.
blender right now.
It's understandable.
Yeah, we're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. If you're watching live, hit the like button. It takes a second. Supports the show. Pushes it out in the algorithm. We're talking about Detroit Lions OTAs, and we're going to get into it. Different storylines coming out from OTAs. But before we do that, Caleb, can you read some of the super chats that have came
Yes, sir.
through?
We got a couple super chats, a couple Scott Harris super chats. Let's take a look at these here. First one from Sideless. Shout out, thank you for the $5. He says Scott has been trying to rebuild while being competitive for 2 years now. That's why he keeps going. Zoinks, we made the playoffs. Be happy. That's exactly right. That's why I'm praying we don't go on a run at the end of the season, because he's just going to be like, well, we made the playoffs with this roster. I mean, just brutal. Shout out Joshua Black with the $2. He said, we ain't freaky enough. No aura, L squad.
Wow.
Hey, if the Tigers got to be freaky to score some runs,
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm
all with
okay with that.
Call Diddy if you got to.
Shout out to Purple Puma with the $2.
Just say it.
I mean, no, we can't just gloss over that.
Y'all want to get
That's
freaky,
a diabolical statement.
I'm just
from KG.
saying, man.
Shout out, to Purple Puma with the $2. He said, we are worse than the White Sox. I'm sick. The White Sox are a gritty, fun team. The Tigers are the complete opposite.
The White Sox
of that.
have Murakami, who just hits
who's a
bombs,
stud.
and
Stud.
it's incredible.
Yeah. And then last one, Dante with
out.
the $1.99 shout out. He said, chat poll, worst GM, Stevie Y or Scott H. I'll throw that one up right now because I think that's an interesting conversation.
You got to say Sky Harris. I mean, I've seen Yzerman do it
Yeah,
before.
we've seen it. There's proof in the pudding there. I mean, maybe not in Detroit, but we've seen it at least. So
What's crazy too, like Broder, shout out Broder. He said in the chat, he said
Scott
the
just had
craziest
more
thing is
playoff
he's the
appearances.
safest. Scott Harris is probably the safest GM in Detroit right now. But there's also the super chat that's saying who's the worst GM in Detroit. Like that's insane. The fact that we have to those two comments exist together.
because he has the playoff.
It's insane.
He has the playoff appearance argument.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Stevie
1-2
doesn't
series. He did.
have- Yeah.
Steve
one.
Yzerman didn't he not build a Stanley Cup winning team?
Yeah, but they had some of those pieces already there, and he kind of just added to that. But
Yeah.
Scott had some pieces here already.
yeah, well, he ain't added to it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He might be
fair.
he might be at the bottom. He might be the worst.
I think he is.
Let's get into some Detroit Lions. So, by the way, we're going to have the doc on in about 10 minutes or so.
Shout out.
But he did put out an article on Sports Illustrated talking about position battles. And I guess we could talk more about that, specific position battles that are going to happen and occur. I know we talked a lot about the offensive line, that left guard spot. I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't bring that up. I mean, the left guard spot is probably going to be one of the more important battles of OTAs.
Are
And just
y'all-
really the offseason.
Are y'all sold on Mahogany? Because I've been screaming that before y'all
No,
came back.
I wrote down here like
I'm not
I
sold on
legit
it.
think that left guard spot I have 4 different guys: Christian Mahogany, Miles Frazier, Juice Scruggs, who could play center, right? That's your
could,
backup
yeah.
center, but he's also played left guard in his
Yeah.
career, and Ben Barch. Like those are 4 dudes that I think have a legit chance. That might be offensively, that might be the one spot that's like actually wide open. Like I think your offense is so solidified right now with running back, obviously, quarterback, most of your offensive line, tight ends, wide receivers. I think it just comes down like that left guard spot. I do actually have, I just saw this. I have another offensive position group for a position battle. The wide receiver 4. Greg Dortch I have.
Yeah.
Cedric Wilson. Dominic Lovett, who last year was kind of that wide receiver 4-5 for a little bit.
Yeah.
This name, how about this, boys? Tom Kennedy.
TK85,
I think
baby.
TK85 deserves a little bit of conversation in that. I do.
He just won't go away,
and
man.
he's consistent, dude. He's like the most consistent wide receiver 4 or 5 that you have. And then the other one, you do have Kendrick Law out of Kentucky too.
Yeah.
Who's going to be battling for a spot on this roster as well.
Take Cedric Wilson out of there.
You think Cedric Wilson completely out?
Not a chance in hell. He's a camp signing.
Yep, I agree. I agree with that.
Wow, that's okay.
I think Greg Dortch gets it.
Yeah, come on.
I think this is basically just saying, hey, competition, but Greg Dortch.
Right.
I do think Greg Dortch
could be competing for 3, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I think
it depends on
Tesla's-
how you feel about Tesla. I think they will put Tesla there, but you can make the argument, though.
Yeah, I think it depends on the style of like wide receiver
What they want out
I
there.
kind of look at 3-4 as the same level. The 3 and 4 wide receivers.
Because they're going to have
It
Amon-Ra.
depends on where you're at.
If they have
Like, are you
Amon-Ra in the slot, J-Mo and Tesla makes the most sense.
Greg Dortch should be the gadget guy.
Yeah, he's going to be your Khalif. Where Khalif literally played every position. He could do anything, which was good.
I'll throw out another position group, and I'm surprised you didn't mention it yet, is safety, but specifically without Brian Branch. Because, Kirby Joseph, assuming he plays to start the season, which I think he will, but that other safety spot while Brian's out, I think that's one of the more intriguing safety battles. You have Christian Izien, who's a nickel but can play safety, Chuck Clark, Avonte Maddox, Thomas Harper, Dan Jackson.
That's
all
an
those guys
interesting
competing to play. Because you could say, well, Thomas Harper played. Well, he actually filled in for Kirby. This is a strong safety. You need so there's a specific type they're looking for. And I haven't even mentioned Lauren Strickland.
Yeah.
Who I...
Great story.
Great story. We'll get to him in another topic we're talking about today. But the other guys are competing. I mean, all these guys are competing for that safety spot.
I know what convo he's talking about. But.
Wow, you didn't need to do that to Lauren Strickland.
I made
Come
a big
on, dude.
shout out Lauren Strickland. Worked at Target.
Worked at Target.
He did.
Lauren Strickland, I believe
is crazy.
This is crazy. I think he does daily.
That's the first thing you pointed out. Hey, you worked at Target.
It is disrespectful for sure. I mean, he played college football, then worked at Target. And
He's
got
going
the
back
NFL.
to Target because I'm going to cut him.
He might go back to Target. But anyway, that's a safety battle. All those guys, a lot of names. What does Dan Jackson look like? Former 7th-round pick. Is he something?
By the way, Lauren Strickland, I've on TikTok, I keep coming across Lauren Strickland on TikTok. He does like daily lives and gives away like signed merch and stuff like every day.
Oh, that's dope.
So if you're trying to get type of merch,
Lauren Strickland's doing the glizzy.
Oh no!
What's those?
Hey, what is it? The glizzy gladiator or something? Yeah, no, I don't know if he's doing that. No, thank you for the flower.
Yeah, he's doing the NPC shit. That's what they call it, like the NPC.
The Spider-Man guy. Who's the Spider-Man
guy?
He's like sitting there
Just let me do my nerdy shit in peace, bro.
Yeah.
But he is on TikTok live all the time. I will say though, the corner or the safety, I think it's more so not even just the safeties. I think it's just secondary as a whole. I think they've just added so many guys, whether it's nickel, strong safety, free safety, outside corner, like whatever position group in that secondary. I think everyone's battling when it comes to this training camp. And obviously, DJ Reed and TA, like, those are the vets and those are the guys that, like, you look at as your 1 and 2. DJ Reed, you pay, what, $17 million a year?
Yeah.
So you're sitting there, you're like, okay, you expect him to be in there. But obviously, we feel like he can take a step forward. He wasn't that great last year. TA, we all know we're like, everyone's like, it's all eyes on TA in that room, right? Everyone's like, what is he going to be?
Especially after this offseason, for sure.
Right, but then they still brought in outside corners. They brought back Rock Yassin because of that. They've brought back a guy like Avonte Maddox who can move around in that room.
Play safety.
Yeah, so like they have guys that can play outside corner, that can play all the way into nickel, that can play free safety, strong safety. Most of the guys in that room that they brought in have played every single position in the secondary at some point in their NFL career. So I don't even know if it's like it's a safety battle. You know, we're looking at positional groups and OTAs. Dude, I think it's like every man for itself and every position there. And I think there's going to be some positions within that secondary that you're going to see a guy starting maybe week 1 or at some point this year that you're going to be like, wait a sec. Like, we didn't even talk about Chuck Clark moving in and playing at nickel. Well, how is he starting at nickel right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I look at this secondary room. And that's what I wrote down every name in the secondary.
Yeah.
On mine for the position battle.
It's funny, we don't even bring up Caleb's guy anymore, Rakestraw.
Yeah, which is
crazy.
crazy.
Show some love, man.
We don't even bring up Rake no
Show
more.
some love. I mean, look, they signed a lot of guys, obviously, in the secondary. Ennis Rakestraw is going to have a shot here. He's going to have a shot.
That's all
Ennis,
look,
Ennis, I'm talking to you right now. Yeah. You're my good friend. Just stay healthy, and you're going to have a shot to I mean, the nickel position's up in the air. Maybe you could play some outside corner for us. Mm-hmm. Come on. Prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many guys in that room. I'd rather like Chuck Clark playing anywhere on that field than Ennis Rakestraw.
This guy said he'll have a shot.
Yeah.
A shot.
Give me Roger
think
McCreary.
Full court shot. I mean, that's what he's going to have
But
to
if
make.
you're talking safety, I think it's either Chuck Clark or Izzian that maybe have the best shot.
Izzy has an opportunity.
Honestly, you know what I think is a sleeper at that safety spot is Avonte Maddox.
Yeah,
he
because
did
he
last
played it
year,
last
yeah.
year.
He ain't bad, man. He
No,
can
he
play
not.
nickel. He can play. I think he could play that strong safety spot, and they like him. He had the pick against the Bears. Like,
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like. Man,
They love
ton of
Avonte
experience,
Maddox in that room,
ton of
too.
experience too.
Yep.
Smart football player. Yeah, we'll see. Is there any other battles we talked about you guys have an opinion on, or anything that we haven't mentioned?
I mean, I've brought this up a few times, and you guys brought it up. Obviously, is the left guard position. I'm really curious to see what they do there. Obviously, I think you're just in shells in OTAs, so you can't really hit. But
Yeah.
that left guard position, Booner, I think you're spot on. I think it's up in the air. I think there's a few guys that we could see trotting out week 1, or even with the ones in training camp.
Who do you think? Who do you guys think the closest is to on Mahogany's ass, basically, for that left guard?
I think it's Miles
It's
Frazier.
got to
I
be
think it's
Miles
Miles
Frazier.
Frazier.
He's
I think it's
already
Miles
in the
Frazier.
building.
Because he's already been in the building. He played a couple snaps for us. last year.
And last year it wasn't like I don't even think Mahogany was like fully hurt. Remember they were still like switching what is it called, like series.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
they were
they
just
did do that
randomly
one game.
they were
I
just
forgot about
randomly
that,
throwing
yeah.
Miles Frazier in for like a series here, a series
They were doing
there.
like J.J.
Mid-
McCarthy, Cade McNamara.
Yeah, but the thing was, it was mid-season. It wasn't like it was like, oh, we're out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It was mid-season. They were like, okay, we need to figure out this left guard
And
spot.
it just felt like as the year went on, like Tate Radlich had issues with communication when the season started, but it kind of seemed like it got better as the year went on. But Mahogany, though, that was a different situation.
Yeah.
Like he just looked bad throughout the whole
Yep.
year, man.
Yeah, and that was the thing going in. Like Mahogany had that start or two in the prior season. He looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
People
against
were
the
like,
Vikings.
is it
Spot
Fugazi?
starting. Yeah.
Yeah, is it Fugazi? And then this year he was kind of up and down. I mean,
He's a 6th-round pick, y'all. Like,
yeah, and that's where I think people are so used to Brad Holmes hitting on those guys late in the draft, where we have to kind of remind ourselves that these guys at the end of the day are 6th-round picks. Like Miles Frazier, even like Miles Frazier, I love him, but he is a 6th
Same with
round,
Mahogany,
5th or
what was
6th
he?
round pick.
4th or 5th?
That's what we just said.
Mahogany was
Yeah,
sixth.
Mahogany was a
So
6th.
that's fair.
Yeah, so some of those things you gotta. And then there's me talking about Keith Abney, who's a 5th-round pick. I'm like, he's starting day one.
Different position, though. but
Different
yeah.
position.
I do
player.
have another position group, by the way.
What was
Yeah.
that?
I think this linebacker position.
But that depends on if they change the scheme or not.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I think. But if they don't, let's say they don't, which
Eesh.
You have two
Calvin
linebackers.
Shepard said that they don't know if they're going to. You're now in a position where where's Barnes, Rodrigo, Jimmy Rolder,
If they have two linebackers,
Trevor Nowaski, where is he at?
If they have two linebackers, I don't think there's a competition. But if there's
No, but
three,
if they stick to what they
then-
were doing last year,
yeah, then yes.
now
That
it's
third
like
spot.
where is everyone? What's
Yes.
happening?
Then you
is
have-
Rodrigo like where are we going to be at there? So
I would probably take Rodrigo in that.
Yeah, you would have to think.
have to.
but
He's the only one who
no
started
way
the
Jimmy
entire
Rolder's
season.
beating them out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but I don't know.
Please, Calvin, don't do it. Don't run base defense. Let's
Yeah,
not
just
run that
change the
back.
scheme, please.
I mean, this is like it's like we just talked about the Tigers and the Red Wings, and now we're talking about a defensive scheme that could potentially be the same. All these common things, insanity, doing the same thing, expecting different results. Tigers, Red Wings, off seasons. You got the defense for the Lions. Okay, let's change some things up. Let's run some more nickel, please. All right.
would love that.
Or go sign
That would
Bobby
be
Wagner. I'd
incredible.
be cool with that. Too.
Or just sign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Wagner. It's funny. It feels like every free agent we bring up is like 40 years old that we want. But
True.
that's really all that's out there, man.
He's
It's
still
that time of the
productive.
year. And he still wasn't. He's still productive. It's like Cam Jordan. He's 37.
Right.
Productive.
Did have 10 sacks.
All of these guys.
Might have to wait
it's
closer.
Your guy. Who is your edge rusher? That Jadeveon Clowney.
Yep.
Yeah.
Productive.
Yep.
Old player.
That's how it
Productive.
is.
All right.
No slaw out there.
By the way, can you, Doc just hit me up. He said, can you send me another link? Okay, we got to get Doc another link. Let's go to break. When we get back, we'll chop it up. We'll have the Doc on. Talk about OTA, so you're going to want to stick around. But first, before we go to break, I got to hear about our friends over at Thrive.
Let me tell you guys about Thrive. We're going to get the Doc some Thrive here. Most people think energy comes in a 16-ounce can full of sugar and neon color liquid. But you guys all know better. Just like you guys know better about the Lions defense, it's time to upgrade your game with Thrive energy pouches. It's not your daddy's dip. It's a tobacco-free, nicotine-free mental powerhouse packing 300 milligrams of clean, smart caffeine, including alpha GPC and L-theanine. You get no jitters, no sugar crash, none of that stuff that you don't want. You don't have any of that. You can find Thrive at dipstop.com, and you can use promo code WSN for 15% off your entire order, and exclusively at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. That's Thrive. It's clean energy, zero distractions. They just effing work.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. One's great. Two, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All day IPA. Hop into easy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
All right, let me tell you guys about Art and Jake's here. There's regular sports bars, and then there's Art and Jake's. Nobody else can even come close on game day. The boys, we actually go to Art and Jake's all the time for
Love
UFC
it.
fights.
It's
We go
good.
for NBA playoff games. We're always going there on the weekends just to get some food, to watch games, to watch fights. They have over 80 wall-to-wall TVs, 22 draft beers on tap, and their menu is packed with fan favorites. The boys, by the way, too, I don't know if you guys knew this. Caleb texted us. Jeff and I saw it a couple months ago. They have an app there called the Crunch Time
Oh, and they're amazing.
cheese curds or something like that.
Really?
Crunch Time Bites.
Crunch Time Bites.
Nice.
So we have, maybe not officially, but we have our own appetizer
Claim
at
it.
Art and Jake's. Make sure right there you see the QR code next to my head. Scan that to download the A&J app today and join the AJ's fan club and follow them at Art and Jake's on socials and find a location near you today. It's a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor, baby.
I'm gonna have to mess with y'all on some of them UFC fights, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're always going.
through.
Every time there's a big fight, Art and Jake's is a spot that we
Yeah,
go to.
we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Art and Jake's is the spot, man, for the
Team
fights.
bonding.
Team bonding. It's important. Speaking of teams, Red Wings, Tigers, Scott Harris leads the poll. Who's the worst GM in Detroit? 64-36 to Stevie Y. I mean, he's got almost double the votes. Scott Harris. People
Well,
are pissed
technically,
off.
all right, Scott Harris isn't the GM. Technically.
Yeah, technically.
Technically, we're getting technical here.
Let's bring in our good friend, the publisher of Detroit Lions on Sports Illustrated, host of the Wolves podcast, joins us every single Wednesday to talk Detroit Lions, among other things. It's John Maakaron.
My dog.
How we doing, Doc?
I'm feeling good. Listening in earlier, I'm going to call in a favor. Maybe you guys can hook me up with some vouchers for the Birmingham massage place. I have my own massage place I like to go to in the area, but, you know, after a couple times, you know, you kind of get used to it. So maybe I'll look for some new places to get some massage relaxation, brother, because all the Detroit teams piss me off.
Well, Doc, this ain't no rubbing tug. We're talking about somewhere that do massage chairs. man.
We're talking about if you want to buy a massage chair, you can go get a massage chair for your house.
No Robert Kraft stuff.
Yeah. Just
What
make
are
it.
you guys talking about? I'm just talking about relaxing, watching sport.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think
No, cool.
The,
What
the
a hot
next
start.
ads, I want to see some of the. I want to see some of the staff there, and we'll see if I become a patron.
Well, Doc, let's talk some OTAs. We'll move away from the massage chairs. What are you? I know you put out an article on Sports Illustrated talking about just position battles, but we are talking about storylines. What are some storylines you're excited to see, Doc, for OTAs? What are you looking? What questions are you looking to get answered?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. You know, it's great. I'm still credentialed 8 years in. Friday, I will be at Allen Park shooting video, looking at what's going on. Our first look at the Detroit Lions. And I think a lot of people are paying attention to the second-year players. Does Tyreek Williams step it up? Can Tate Ratledge take his next step? Because everybody believes the biggest jump you make as a pro is between year one and year two. Isaac Tesla, everybody says, okay, the Lions made a huge investment. I want to see what he's like out there, his development. So obviously the growth of the second-year players, I want to see how the rookies look their first time out on the field. Look, you're not going to get a lot. All these practices are not in pads, but you still get a lot of good work, 7-on-7, 11-on-11, competitive drills. We'll get a first look at some of these rookies. I want to get a first look at Derek Moore, how he's moving on, how he's moving around out there. Like everybody, I read and paid attention to what you were saying, Hefe. Keith Abney is somebody that I legitimately believe can earn a starter's role coming out of training camp. So it's going to be great to see how the second-year players acclimate. And then obviously the big thing that everybody's paying attention to, that is probably going to be one of the early questions is the injury updates. We want to know, okay, what's going on with Sam Laporta? What's going on with Branch? Where is he at in his recovery? Kirby Joseph. Some of these guys maybe are not going to take the field, but learning from Dan Campbell where they're at is going to potentially give a lot of fans relief because we haven't heard too much lately regarding the injury status of some of the key players.
Yeah, Doc, one thing I do want to ask you here, especially this week, it's the first time we're going to be able to see this defense kind of back on the field from last year. And I know you guys spoke with Kelvin Shepard at, the NFL Combine, and he made the comment about schematic changes and all of that, and we keep bringing that up here. Do you think that there's going to be something out of this camp that they're going to, we're going to be able to kind of at least get an idea if that change is coming or what they're going to roll with, especially like we talk about with the linebacker position, if they go to that kind of 4-2 there. Is that something that you think that's going to happen? And also, too, just kind of branching off of that, the confidence level you have going into OTAs with Kelvin Shepard.
And Doc, I know we ask you this all the time, too. Can you actually break down what Kelvin said at the Combine again? Like, to give people a context when you answer Booner's question? Because, that's the stuff me and Booner always talk about, and we forget what he actually said about his scheme.
Yeah, no, look, he always says, when I talk about my scheme, kind of don't believe me. He doesn't want to reveal too much, but he indicated that, look, everyone understands, okay? You look at what Seattle was able to do. They played a lot more nickel. The league is shifting more toward nickel coverage, but he said, I would play nickel if I had Nick Emenwari on this team. You want to tailor the scheme to what you have. And look, they believe truly that Terrion Arnold is, and they truly believe, and that's where maybe some disagreements will happen. They truly believe that man-to-man press coverage in the secondary is the best way to go. Now, I do think what's going to happen is there's going to be more adaptability against different teams. And the Lions did try last year. If you look at the numbers, the Lions were in nickel at times. They did not play man-to-man press exclusively. They want to be in the majority of their defensive reps, but they want to try. But unfortunately, when you have all those injuries, there's breakdowns in communications, and it ended up resulting in far too many explosive plays. So first and foremost, hopefully, like everything, the caveat always is going to be with the defense, stay healthy. If you stay healthy, you have a chance to mix and match and take advantage of some schematic changes. And I think that what people want to see is, are they going to maybe go to more of a 5-man front? How is the pressure going to look? Where's it going to come from? I think with Jack Campbell. And something that Alex Anzalone said, it was a subtle hint, is he said, man, he was excited to go to Tampa because maybe he can rush the passer more downhill instead of dropping into coverage. I think there's opportunities to bring coverage. Guys, guess what? If you pay attention, there's opportunities to bring coverage through the A-gap now with your secondary and your linebackers. So I think that there's new ways to play defense, but they still have their core tenets. Stop the run, be able to disrupt the passer, and hopefully it comes with additional sack totals. But I think there's new ways that you'll see some coverage schemes. And the one thing you'll pay attention early is, and I think will get reported, is how many linebackers line up. Obviously, last year, Lions lined up in 3 linebacker sets quite a bit. Maybe they will potentially run more 5 defensive backs and 2 linebackers with Barnes and Jack Campbell. One of the key players I put in our article at Lions on SI is a player to watch is Malcolm Rodriguez. Does he earn that will linebacker spot? So I want to see, how often do they play? How often are they in 2 linebacker sets or 3 linebacker sets? That'll be something early on we can pay attention to.
Do you, by the way, Doc, do you have any confidence in Derek Barnes taking a jump? Because he's getting paid $8 million and Anzo gets paid $8.5 million. It's like you're essentially banking on him taking a jump to the Anzo level. Like, are you confident, as someone who covers the team, like, yeah, I could see Derek Barnes making a jump like that to be able to, play at that level?
Yeah, no, look, it's one of those deals when you look at a player like that, you've paid him for a certain spot. They tried him a little bit at the Sam role. I'm not sure it's as successful as they want. I think that the talent's there. Obviously, learning from Alex Anzalone, I think playing alongside Jack Campbell will help him. But, yeah, I think that at times, we're always looking for the steady improvement. And I'm certain that he'll work on things and things like that. But I kind of think you get what you get, a sure tackler, somebody that can quickly recognize plays, has the ability to pressure the quarterback, but you just want to see more consistency. And yeah, he's obviously been on the wrong side of some highlight reel plays, but by and large, he's an okay linebacker, but yes, you can get more. I do think that, it's always interesting to see when, a veteran like Alex Anzalone leaves. Now it's on the guys like Derek Barnes and Jack Campbell and Malcolm Rodriguez to lead the defense, and Aiden Hutchinson. And Dan Campbell said that, by and large, along with Brad Holmes, that the reason why they were willing to move on from DJ Reed or Al-Quadin Mohammed, the Alex Ancelonis, is, hey, it's time for our true core to step up. And, my confidence level is there, but at the same token, I understand where people say, you know what, based on the contract that he gets, are you getting the production that you need? You always want more. And I'm curious to see this year for Derek Barnes, when the spotlight's on you, do you raise your game? I think there's something in there too, because he's not a fan of having his highlight be, getting torched by Jameis Winston and not making a play against Dak Prescott. But also remember, he had the interception that won a playoff game. So I think he's a good player, but yeah, that contract kind of puts his play in the spotlight for sure.
Hey, Doc, we're going to talk about potential Detroit Lions cut candidates. Who are some guys maybe on your radar just heading into OTAs? But I know it's early, but throughout the offseason that Lions fans should pay attention to as potential cut candidates for the Lions.
Yeah, no doubt. You look at where the Lions beefed up, and that's the offensive line. So two players that, and also too, if you want to know who we've done, Christian Boer, a great writer, did a 53-man roster projection. A lot of people were interested in, caused some discussions. We have that on Lions on SI right now. And I just think that two linemen that you got to pay attention to are Colby Sorsdahl and Giovanni Manu. Look, by and large, we all know that Brad Holmes loves his draft picks, but it's no free rides. You don't get to redshirt your whole career. And when Brad Holmes said, well, I can't even count on him yet to be in the mix right now, entering his third year, that raised a lot of eyebrows. And then you go and you add Larry Borum and draft Blake Miller. So that's just indicative of where he's at. Is his ceiling this year even to have a reserve role? So he's on the bubble watch, in my opinion. Colby Sorsdahl, coming after an injury, is somebody you want to pay attention to. And you always want to look at key position battles as well. I think the safety battles are going to be very interesting. You look at Dan Jackson. Is he going to earn a spot on special teams? You realize last year was cut short. I would have wished he would have been out there. His season was cut short. You realize that, okay, you added two veteran safeties, so you got to get out there and get your work done. You look at the wide receivers, everyone's always going to pay attention to Dominic Lovett, Jackson Meeks, and I'm just curious, like everybody else, does Tom Kennedy finally make the team in regards to coming out of training camp? He's always on the roster, but ends up being on the practice squad and gets called up. So it'll be a nice competition, a lot of battles to pay attention to. Does TK85 earn a spot? But I think that some of the battles are going to be very interesting to watch as we head. I don't know if there's going to be really any post-June 1 cuts right away. The Lions have open roster spots. Their cap is in decent shape, but I think that when we head to training camp, a lot of the position battles are going to be very, very interesting to watch, especially too at defensive end. Does a guy like Peyton Turner make the roster with the likes of Derek Moore, Ahmed Hassanin, and DJ Wonham on the roster? It's going to be very interesting to see who ends up making the cut.
Hey, Doc, I have to bring this up because you've covered the Lions for a long time, and especially like I look at it this year with the offensive coordinator situation with Drew Petzing. You were there last year for all the times that John Morton spoke to the media. You were there during, obviously training camp and all of that. So you got to see how he approached this offense and kind of revamping the Ben Johnson offense. What are you going to be looking for that's kind of a difference from John Morton to Drew Petzing? Because I think everyone last year, and maybe not you, Doc, but I know at least me, I was a little more confident. John Morton probably shouldn't have been, maybe a little too confident. And I thought it was going to be an easy transition, and then obviously it turned out not to be. And when he spoke to you guys in the media, there was definitely some things that he probably should have done differently. What are you going to be looking for this next few weeks when it comes to Drew Petzing speaking to the media, and as well just on-field stuff when it comes to kind of changing this offense and getting it back to where Ben Johnson had it?
Oh, I think, listen, Booner, you've done masterful job in your couple years doing this. Your questions are great, and it really leads me to my points, which are, if you listen exclusively to guys like Neil Rule, Stick, the Rainbow and Sunshine Connection, you're always going to feel like, man, what happened last year? The Lions were supposed to win the Super Bowl. Well, guys like myself told you, wait a minute. Yeah, they're going to potentially have a good year, but wait a minute, pause. There's going to be a new offensive line. It's going to be revamped. You got John Morton. It could be different. So I get labeled as the doom and gloom guy just for bringing up these ideas. And I heard the producer there, my man KG, I believe, saying, I can't believe I thought the Tigers were going to be World Series contenders. Listen, secret here. Nobody in their right mind believed that bullshit that the Tigers were going to be World Series contenders. Come on now. You got the Dodgers. And yeah, they just got into spending. So come on, be more realistic with what you got and maybe just peek over to the dark side and listen to the doc when he says, hey, I got a little bit of concern about these injuries. Aiden Hutchinson's out. Eli McNeil's out in 2024. I might present a problem for your Detroit Lions to win these games. So I'm very appreciative of people that say, hey, man, you're not really negative. You're just trying to keep it as real as possible. And so to me, I say, look, I think that obviously Drew Petzing is probably going to have much more room for success than John Morton. And remember, okay, if you remember nothing of what I said last year, nothing, I was the one who put it in big, bold letters on my Twitter page. The reason John Morton got fired from the Jets was he couldn't establish the run. He got run out of town because on first, second, third down and 1, he would pass the ball. And guess what happened last year? History repeated itself. So people were all up in arms last year like, man, Doc, you're questioning the offense after week 1 because it didn't look nothing like the offense that we would have wanted to see. And so I'm of the opinion that this year, Drew Petzing will get this offense to look a little bit more like Ben Johnson. And why wouldn't you? You have Jahmyr Gibbs. You're going to want to use him out of the backfield. You're going to want to take advantage of his skills, maximize the skills of your running back. You're going to want to see even distribution with Amon-Ra, St. Brown, J-Mo, Tesla, distributing the ball like Dan Campbell was able to do when he yanked the play calling from John Morton so fast, it reminded everybody of Anthony Lynn. So you look at it and you say, Drew Petzing, you know, he understands. Here's the positives. He definitely has the plays in hand. He knows, obviously, what to call. The foundational pieces are going to be there. His success is not going to be determined by the stuff that happens during the week. It's going to happen on Sunday when it's time to dial up the plays. How does he sequence them? Where does he decide to put in some trick plays? Who gets the ball early? Which players get featured which weeks? When he starts to sequence those plays and you're under the fire and you become, your film is out there for these excellent defensive coordinators to figure out. John Morton, kind of where he struggled was he didn't get the key players involved at the highest rate, and he didn't establish the run, and he alienated the offensive line pretty quickly, where it was pretty shocking to see John Morton blame the offensive line only to have a few hours later the offensive line go, well, maybe our scheme might not be that great. And that was wild to see. I don't think that's going to happen this year. You have the offensive weapons. I'm of the opinion that the Rainbow and Sunshines that Stick and Neil can lay their head on the pillow nice and comfy is that offense. They'll be like, yeah, Jared's great. The offense is great. Where you have to be concerned, where the doc comes in and says, well, pay attention, is that defense. Yeah, you have a little bit more depth on the offensive line, but on defense, you withstand some of those injuries. If Kirby Joseph doesn't come back, if your plan, if you're still slow to pressure, that could be the downfall of this team. Not doom and gloom, just raising awareness to make these fine fans a little bit smarter.
We haven't gotten to ask you, Doc, about the Jack Campbell extension. I know you've talked about it, but here on the show to ask you your thoughts on the Jack Campbell extension. I know the void years came out, or at least how Brad structured it with void years, kind of doing what the Eagles are doing with a lot of their contract extensions. But not only the Jack Campbell extension, but to kind of talk about some other guys that need to be paid. Jahmyr, you have Brian Branch, Sam Laporta. Reaction to the Jack contract, and then who's next? And is there anybody that could be left off that list?
Yeah, no, look, Jack Campbell, the Lions are using void years for void years. And basically the purpose of that is to, if let's say you have a cap hit of $15 million, and if you have a contract for 3 years, it's $5 million a year. But when you spread it out over 8 years, now you can get the cap number reduced, spread over multiple years. So look, in the end, it would appear based on how this contract is structured, they want to make Jack Campbell a career Lion. And it would make sense. He buys everything that you would want. Now, and here's what I want to say, and I don't want to alarm anybody and get everybody all riled up, but everybody's like, oh, we got Gibbs and we might pay him. Oh, we got Jack Campbell. Oh, the Lions are good. The positional value debate is over. No, it's not. The debate is still there. You drafted these players at spots that typically across the league don't produce the wins you need to win the Super Bowl. Everything's not measured in, hey, how many division titles you have, how many playoff wins you get. To me, and maybe I'm just that way in my mindset, is the positional value debate where Brad Holmes can come in, thump his chest and be like, I told you, Mr. Doc, you're doom and gloom. I love stick. He'll say, I got you a Super Bowl with these guys. So to me, the positional value debate is not closed because you have an all-pro linebacker. Good, you got a guy that fits the role, but you still got to put together a team. And I want Jack Campbell on my team, but there's still an opportunity to debate going, man, what if you would have done something a little different and built up the defense earlier? Maybe you would have won in 24 and 25. And those are just things that you talk about. Now, again, we still got to credit Brad Holmes for targeting good football players, keeping them. But at the same time, you can debate that develop and paying all these guys extensions is part of the reason you don't have exactly the defense you're looking for to be able to be championship level. In 5 years, I'm looking at it like I feel like I'm owed a Super Bowl, and it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it'll be this year, but right now, as it sits, at least I know I'm comfortable giving KG, Caleb, your audience, a little of an idea that right now the Lions are not the Super Bowl favorite. It's the Rams, it's the Texans, there's others as well, but there's work to see this season, and there's an opportunity to have a great season. But if you're going into this year and you're believing stick and you're like, yeah, this is another Super Bowl contender right now, I'll pump the brakes. It has the feel of like, yes, we improved the offensive line. Let's see how it develops. Let's see how these offensive weapons start to gel. But you realize next year, with another year of development with Tesla, Gibbs into his real prime, and another year of all these guys really getting into it, maybe then the Lions will be comfortable to actually add players at the deadline. So I think that this year is going to be solid. You have a chance to have success in a playoff push. But right now, based on how this team looks and a bunch of one-year guys at some spots, you're not the Super Bowl favorite. You're not right now at the level of the Rams. The Rams did you a solid by drafting a quarterback at number 13. If they would have gotten another offensive weapon for Stafford, that might have been just enough to get them over the hump, really, to make them really lap you in terms of talent.
Hey, with that conversation, I just want to know, because we were having this battle today here at Woodward in our group chat. Can you win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, Doc? If you and I get it, the caveat of if he has the right team around him. To me, it's a simple yes or no. If you put the right roster around him, can you win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff as your quarterback in Detroit?
Okay, no, that's great. I was listening last week and peeking into the chat a little bit. I always find it funny that I never, and you guys know I got a lot of respect for Neil Rule. I just don't understand where people go, well, I'm questioning Jared Goff a little bit. I have a little bit of doubts. And he's like, why don't you doubt Josh Allen? Neil, no disrespect. I don't give a flying F about Josh Allen. He doesn't play for the Lions. I care about one guy under center for the Detroit Lions, and that's Jared Goff. I don't care if Lamar Jackson is doing this. I would be very intrigued to see what that guy would do working here in this offense. But at the same token, you got Jared Goff, and you built an offense around him. I'm definitely, I think I heard you ask, all right, who are the quarterbacks you love growing up? I was a fan of Joe Montana. What did Joe Montana do? Led some great comebacks, was a winner, was just a guy that from the time he was in college was a winner. Now, to me, we all believe that Jared Goff is more like Joe Montana, when in reality, it's kind of more like Dan Marino. For whatever reason, just whenever it's time, and Dan Marino got to a Super Bowl early and never got back again. And I do think Jared Goff can raise his game even more. But to me, I have doubts. I have my doubts that it can happen, because not only is it a team game, but you also have others as well at the position along the defensive line. These teams that push, they understand that strong interior defensive lines and these defensive ends are when you get to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, they are just monsters. They're out to get you, and they're out to hurt you. Washington tried to take out Jared Goff, and you can argue that he maybe suffered a concussion. Now, to be blunt and honest, I do think you can win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. But at the same token, for those that say, why don't you respect Jared Goff a little bit more? When you pay the man $50 million, I want him to be one of one. I want him to be one of two. And right now, he's in the top 7. So to me, I would be like Stick if Jared Goff was paid like Sam Darnold. I would be like, oh, guys, everybody support Jared Goff. He's going to take you to the promised land. You can use monies in different spots. But when you're paying him north of 50 and now you got to restructure his contract to keep him around longer, yeah, you've been able to keep some guys. But at the same token, I have my doubts that at times when he struggles, it can cause some problems for your football team. And look, and it's not just me saying it. The league is going more towards athletic quarterbacks. Now, it hasn't been as successful. Prototypical passers are still hanging on by their jockstrap to stay in the league. But I would like to see and look, not a guy like Hendon Hooker where he's a prospect. Somebody that maybe, I would have just, if you could play, fantasy booking, what it would look like with Lamar Jackson running Dan Campbell's offense. I think it would be interesting. Maybe Lamar Jackson would have a chance to be successful. Some people would doubt it, but I would be interested to see it. But Jared Goff's your quarterback, support him. But I'll say this. It wasn't me booing the Lions from the stands last year. It wasn't me. I was comfortably typing, analyzing, getting my notes together, getting my podcast together. It was not I booing the Lions last year. And to me, what happened to the Jared Goff chance? They went away. So it's not just me kind of getting a little more anxious with Jared Goff under center. It is not just I. The fan base is getting a little bit more uncomfortable with each passing year too. But yes, you can win one.
Yeah, I'll say this, Doc. That was a lot of words for you to say. Yeah, you can win with Jared Goff. So I appreciate that. I do. And two, I just want to respond to the Lamar thing. I think and there's quarterbacks in this NFL or in the NFL that are better than Jared Goff. But tell me how you can get Lamar Jackson on your team, or Josh Allen, or Patrick Mahomes, because there's probably a 2% chance that you can get any of those guys on your roster. So that's why it's hey, bringing all that up, it might be, in my opinion, it's the most pointless argument in all of sports because it won't happen. You're not going to bring a guy like that in. And then if you're and you know this very well, Doc, because you went on your quarterback journey, you were going on some I don't know, some hunt or something, but you were I'm going to find the Detroit Lions a quarterback in 2026. And I don't remember you saying, hey, this is the quarterback that's going to replace Jared Goff. So it's hard to do. You can't. That's why I think I understand. I do agree there are quarterbacks that are better, that you have a better chance of winning. That's a fact. It's the same thing. Unless you have the number one quarterback in the NFL, there's always someone that can do better, right? That's a fact at any position. But tell me who's going to be better than Jared Goff, and tell me how you can get there without having to go through another rebuild or giving up every single asset you have to break the bank to go get a guy like that. It's impossible. So it's how do you build a roster around that guy that you have here?
Well,
unless someone lays it out for me, then I don't believe
that's why I did not formally approve of a quarterback, because I did not see one that's my right point. Away would come up. Now next year, as we dive deeper,
here we go. You did this 2 months ago. You said, hey, this year, next year.
Good. And I'll say this, Booner, by and large, a handful of teams that have won Super Bowls have had earlier quarterbacks that are not making $50 million, and then you allocate resources to build a team around them. So that's just how I look at it in terms of just look at teams that have won Super Bowls. Typically, the quarterback is not making a certain percentage of the cap. Now, the Lions, when they restructured it, brought it down a little bit to make it more manageable. But to me, if it would have gone differently, you probably would have been able to develop a quarterback. You whiffed on Hendon Hooker. You thought that maybe that was the guy. So that's what Brad Holmes looked at. So I would expect that the next guy that gets drafted, the next quarterback that gets drafted by your Detroit Lions will be the guy that Brad Holmes says is athletic, has a strong arm. And also, Hendon Hooker was not from a system that was NFL ready. He was at a one-read defense, and he was at a spot where there were question marks regarding what he brings to the table. So when they do go get that young quarterback, the quarterback controversy will begin, and this football team potentially might have a better chance of winning when you're able to support a younger quarterback with more talent on defense with a reasonable quarterback salary.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I was told, Doc, Hendon Hooker was the savior for Jared Goff. He was going to be the guy that comes in.
Don't listen to Stick. I told you that when we started. Don't listen to Stick. He's going to tell you that every draft pick
everyone told me, even the guy that's on the screen here with me even said Hendon Hooker's going to take Jared Goff's spot.
Who are people that tell you he had weaknesses? Okay, don't listen to fans that tell you that Hendon Hooker's going to steal a job.
But that's my point, though, with the Jared Goff thing, is most fans that are like, hey, Jared's not the guy, he's not the guy, those were the same fans that might have been telling me 2 years ago or tweeting out on major accounts that Hendon Hooker's the next guy. And guess what happened with that? He was never the guy. It's just there's so many people who have Jared Goff derangement syndrome that they won't, hey, go find me someone else. And the last person that you went and found me as a fan base, and I was told, it was Hendon Hooker. And I watched him, and you watched him at training camp the same day as we did. He couldn't throw. He couldn't hit the best wide receiver in the NFL, Amon-Ra St. Brown, in the hands if his life depended on it. So it's like, please find me someone. And you know what? Until someone can actually give me a real option, I don't want to hear Jared Goff's name in a bad sense.
You're patiently waiting for the doc to declare the next quarterback. And when I declare it, he'll be the guy that I say, you know what, guys? Booner, Hefe, Stick, Neil, you can trust that there's a stronger than likely chance this guy can beat out Jared Goff. So keep waiting. Keep following me at Lions on SI, and I'll deliver.
It's going to be a while.
I will deliver. The hunt's not over. I will deliver a quarterback for you fine people to get you that Super Bowl. No doubt about it. I will deliver, like always.
We appreciate you, Doc. We'll talk to you next week. Good luck this week. Keep up the great work. You can find more of Doc Wolf's podcast, Detroit Lions on SI. Good work as always, Doc. We'll
Legend,
catch you next
Doc.
week.
You guys as well. Thank you. I look forward to next Wednesday.
Let's go.
There you go. Yeah. The DOC. Now, let me tell you about our friends over at Supreme Lending. Because buying a home or refinancing is a massive decision. And just like in sports, you need the right team behind you, just like Jared Goff. That's why we're proud to welcome Supreme Lending to the Woodward Sports family. As a full-service lender, they boast a 99% close-on-time rate and a 97% customer satisfaction score. But here's the game changer. When you apply for an eligible loan, mention Woodward Sports, you'll receive up to $500, $500 off your appraisal. To score this deal, call the numbers on your screen and talk to Chad and Chris at Supreme Lending today. Now, we got to hear about our friends over at BlackRock.
Let me tell you guys about BlackRock. Great establishment, great restaurant. If you want a good steak, I'll tell you guys about it, and go check BlackRock out. Looking for the perfect spot to host your next party or get together, head to BlackRock Bar and Grill, home of the steak on the stone. Whether it's a graduation party, baby shower, rehearsal dinner, if you just want to go watch a big game, you can go do that at BlackRock. They have all the food, the drinks, atmosphere. They have everything you need to have a whole good party or just a good dinner. They have it all. The best part, there's truly something for everyone. Cocktails, mocktails, they have salads for Jeff over here who's on Ozempic. They have burgers, they have desserts, and they have obviously the famous steaks that's cooked right on the rock and chef prepared to perfection. Book your next event today at BlackRock Bar and Grill and find a location near you, blackrockrestaurants.com. Go check them out.
I hate to tell you, energy drinks, but you're about to be crushed. Thrive nootropic energy pouches are here to change the game by delivering steady, focused performance in a clean white pouch for a fraction of the cost. And unlike other brands, Thrive comes from an American company that's been leading the way for over 30 years. So stop drinking gut-rot energy drinks and why don't you thrive for a change? It's just better.
Gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you will. We got everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
We're excited to welcome our new partners at Founders Brewing and the legendary All IPA. This year marks the 15th anniversary of All Day IPA. It's helped define the session IPA category, but its fans are what made it last. It's crisp, refreshing with a perfectly balanced taste, and you got the 4.7 ABV. It's built to go the distance for the entire game. So next time you're watching the game, make it an all-day IPA from Founders. Please drink responsibly.
And it's only right after an alcohol ad, I provide you with a weed ad. So I am here to tell you about Loom Cannabis. Stop paying full price for your favorite greens, y'all. What are you doing, man? There's discounts out there in this economy. Yes, it is. Right now, you get 30% off your entire, they got it in all caps here so you know it's serious, entire order. That is online or in store when you use promo code WSN30. And if you're new to Loom, you'll get a free shake ounce, a little something to throw on top of the weed, or maybe when you run out, just for stopping in, man. And you can get that at loom.com or any of Loom's 40 locations across the great state of Michigan. Shout out to Loom Cannabis.
We're back. It's crunch time. Woodward Sports, 11 to 1 weekdays. Hit the like button if you're watching.
Hit the like button. Come on,
Might
man.
as well.
Can I say something too about the doc? Which is that conversation with the doc just reminded me about. I'm sorry, and I'm not. This isn't at you, but this is just in general.
We're already
Lions
in
fan
it
base.
now. Yeah,
it's just the Hendon Hooker thing. I just got reminded about the Hendon Hooker thing and that whole saga of people being like, Hendon Hooker is going to take Jared Goff's spot because it was like, dude, the guy was coming off an ACL. He was like the worst quarterback ever at training camp, and people still like there was like there was a group of people who just died on the Hendon Hooker.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even until like it wasn't even a situation where it was like a month before he got cut, people got off of it. People were on the Hendon Hooker trail until the day he got cut. Like, that's what was so shocking to me. It's like, at that point, we had this Jared Goff conversation, like, Booner, you're what do they call it? A Goff gobbler. And they're like, yeah, like, dude, I'll admit when Jared Goff, the people who hate Goff were on Hendon Hooker until the day he got cut.
Well,
that's insane.
Well, I've already admitted 1,000 times that I was wrong on Hendon Hooker, but I think the big thing that people have with a guy like Hendon Hooker is, A, Brad Holmes, who we would believe is a pretty good GM, drafted him. So I think there's a lot of the faith there.
Yeah.
You know, we got to have some consistency, like you talk about with Brad Holmes.
At the time, it was a conversation as to whether Goff was going to be the future. At the time.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, people see the value in having a quarterback making third-round pick money or just rookie money. That's where a lot of that motivation comes from. Now, you know, dying on the hill, yeah, I get that, but I don't blame people for seeing Brad draft a quarterback. The guy's been hitting on draft picks left and right, and you're saying maybe this guy can be good.
Well, I've always been the guy that
I get that.
One of my biggest points within the NFL as a whole, especially drafting, it's always been, if you're a contender, just keep drafting quarterbacks. Because eventually, like Jared Goff, like eventually you're not going to have Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Or like the Chiefs aren't going to have, as you know, you saw Alex Smith forever, and then they went to Patrick Mahomes. And like you see that all the time with teams. The 49ers, they weren't going to always have their guys, and they end up drafting Brock Purdy in the last round of the NFL draft, the last pick. So I've always had the take of, you just keep drafting quarterbacks. I'm okay with my GM. Some people might not be. I'm okay with my GM using one pick a year on a quarterback if there's an opportunity, maybe that quarterback turns into something.
Yeah, but that's kind of a waste because what third-round quarterbacks actually end up working?
Well, I mean, there are some like
Dakota Rain. That's about it.
Dak Prescott, but there's been guys, and like Jalen Hurts, second-round guy, correct?
Yeah.
Like there's guys where it's like, hey, if
they almost gave up on him, though. But
for sure, but if they want, like if Brad wants to, like with the Hendon Hooker thing, I will never go at the Hendon Hooker thing about using the draft pick.
Yeah.
I won't. I'm fine with it. What I'm not okay with was once you're in year 2 going into year 3 with it, where people are like, hey, there's still that chance that Hendon Hooker can take Jared Goff's spot. And the people that were dying on that hill, that's where I'm like, oh, man, like it's like PTSD for me when I see his name.
To me,
I'm
though,
like, oh, come on,
if
dude.
you got a quarterback that you feel like is going to take over your franchise one day, why wouldn't you get him in the first round and get that fifth-year option? So any quarterback taken after that, I kind of don't take seriously per se. Like, yeah, there was a chance Hendon Hooker could have started. There was a lot of, I wouldn't say uncertainty, but we only had 1 year of Jared Goff at that point. You didn't necessarily know whether he was a bridge quarterback or somebody that, you know, we were going to be relying on for years to come. They made that decision. I think at the time there was maybe a chance they thought it could work. But after, like you said, a year or so, you kind of realize what the writing on the wall was.
Yeah, well, that's my point with drafting a quarterback outside the first round. It's, hey, you can do it every year, but you can't just keep hanging on to him. Like, you'll know within 2 years. It's like with the Mahomes thing, within a couple of years. Okay, is that guy it or not? Nope, let's get out of it.
But if he's not taking over your franchise, that's a waste of a pick.
The Luke Altmaier thing. Like, they could have probably drafted him, if they really loved him, but they brought him in. It's like, hey, in a year or two, he might be your quarterback too forever. But within 2 or 3 years, you're going to know if he's good or not, and if he's going to have that opportunity. If not, you go out and instantly you draft another one. But that you got to keep that cycle going. You can't just, in my opinion, in the NFL, you can't just sit back and just wait for a quarterback, because then when Jared Goff's done, now you have to go through 2 or 3 years of being bad. Oh, let's just wait till we get another top 10 pick. What happens if you would have taken a guy in the 3rd round and he goes and starts on a different team?
No, I get that.
Like Tyler Shuck for the Saints, like 2nd round pick. They took him. Now they have their starter for a few years.
But to me, if you're going to utilize that, it has to be like a Jordan Love type situation. This is my guy. I've identified him as my guy. I'm going to take him in the 1st round, and I'm going to sit him. Like, I can just go get a veteran quarterback and just pay, some free agent money and just bring a guy in.
Fair.
Yeah, there's no difference between that and a 2nd or 3rd, 4th round guy in my eyes anyway.
I think a good example of that too, like to KG's point, is the Ty Simpson thing. Like you get the 5th-year option with him now. Mm-hmm. You take him 13th overall. Everybody was like, "Oh my!" Personally, I don't like the pick, but I think a lot of people were like, "What? Why'd they do this? Why wouldn't they take a position of need?" I think it's just because that's who they identified as their guy. And again, like you brought up, KG. they get the fifth-year option with them too. So I agree with what
It's
you're
just
saying.
smarter because then you wasting picks. If I continuously take quarterbacks every year that don't end up panning out or taking over the franchise,
Yeah, but like
it's a waste of a pick.
you can argue like Brad's done good in later rounds, but what 5th, 6th, 7th round? Like, why not try with the quarterback? Now, if you're talking 2nd and 3rd, okay, I can see, but I'm not mad at the pick in the 3rd round.
No, take swings. Take swings.
Yeah.
Man. The most valuable thing in football is a quarterback on a rookie deal. It's the most valuable thing. No question about it.
Take a swing on a defensive player for once.
Yeah, but
all I'm
now
saying.
that's
In
where like the
third
Rams
round.
pick has some questions because they had an opportunity as a contending team to take a really good player at 13. So
Yeah.
I understand why Matthew Stafford is probably pissed about it.
But their offense is set, though. I
Yeah.
get a lot of people was upset and wondering why. They are the best team in the NFC right now today on paper.
Yeah,
So,
with Ty Simpson.
Exactly.
And I did just see Tom Pelissero just tweeted out about Stafford. There's like a bunch of different things within his contract where they have, like, I know he just signed an extension, but there are some outs, like significant outs in it, to where Stafford can still get paid, but they're able to move on in a spot to where if Ty Simpson in 2 years, if they feel comfortable with it, they're able to tell Stafford, like, hey, and if they don't, they're able to opt into another year. He just put out like paragraphs about it. So
Danny G in the chat says, "What's so funny to me is that Goff took $49 million instead of $53. Everyone would be fine with him. $4 million a year
true.
is the difference between everyone getting behind him and half our fan base.
That's true. Because everyone was asking, like, this is my top price. And then they went like 2 or 3 over. And it's at the end of the day, it's like the cap was always going to go up. Neil said it before our show when we were talking about it. He was like, even with the Goff thing, the cap's going to go up. Yeah. It goes up every year. It's more so, I think you've brought this up about Easy, and Easy does have a good point. The percentage. What's the percentage you're paying your quarterback? And if you can go into a year, I think the percentage is under 13%, I believe was the number, then you're good. And we could see what Jared Goff is.
It'd be a bigger deal if they were signing big name free agents, though. They not really doing that. They signing their own guys, which I have no problem with. But this is the strategy that they utilize. So what are we like dead set on this money for if they not spending it?
Yeah, it's like
He's under the 13 this year, by the way. He's at 12.4.
And he got market value at the time. It wasn't like he significantly broke the bank.
That's the thing with, like, people look at the player, like Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl, but Sam Darnold was making this past season $13 million.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they structured it. So, yeah, Sam Darnold won, so Jared can win, no doubt. But he was making $13 million, Sam
I
Darnold.
get that,
So, it's but to your point, the 12% is honestly.
But next year it jumps up to 19%.
Yeah,
right.
I'm telling you.
And you already restructured just now. So you had to restructure again.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hoofhearted says athleticism is a non-factor for quarterbacks, and people just can't wrap their brains around it. The best quarterback of all time wasn't athletic at all, comparatively.
Yeah, I don't look at the athleticism, to be honest.
I don't think athletic. It's not like Lamar Jackson is. He's incredible to watch. I'm not asking for someone who can move like Lamar Jackson, but I think we can all agree you'd like someone that can run for a first down.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like Sam Darnold has that ability. You know what I mean? You
It's not even the scrambling part, because I look at somebody like Pat Mahomes. I'm not comparing Goff to Pat Mahomes. Relax, y'all. But Pat Mahomes ain't mobile per se, but he knows how to extend plays. He's great at extending plays, and Jared Goff just don't have that.
But to Hoofhearted's point, you got to win in the pocket. That's the number one thing you have to be good at. But extending plays and scrambling for a first down, I understand
and
that.
It's not like you haven't seen quarterbacks win without that. Like, you've seen it. Like, again, the greatest ever is not a player that can go out there and extend a play, and it can also get you a first down if you need it.
Yeah,
He's
the
a guy
last
that's
one to
elite
do
in
it
the pocket.
was Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
I mean, because like Jalen Hurts can do that, Sam Darnold
did they
can do
have,
that,
though?
Mahomes can do that. What
did that team have?
Great defense.
A great defense.
Well, they went all in.
Yeah.
So
they traded for Von Miller. They had Aaron Donald. They had traded for Jalen Ramsey. They went all in, and they made it happen. Let's go to break because we're kind of now past another break. Let's go to break. We'll get back. We'll talk
good
about
quarterback
the
talk
candidates.
there.
But we got to hear about our friends over at Pure Psychiatry. So let me tell you about them because this Jared Goff stuff, the people that hate Goff so much, I might send you over to Pure Psychiatry because we talk about sports, but they take care of you. In real life, sports isn't always easy. There's wins, losses, pressure, expectations. But at Woodward Sports, you're never alone, and neither is your mental health journey. Pure Psychiatry provides personalized psychiatric care designed specifically for you. Not a cookie-cutter plan, not for me, Booner, KG, Caleb, specifically for you. They got 16 locations in Michigan, 2 in Ohio. They make getting help accessible and comfortable. If you've been thinking about taking that first step, visit PurePsychMI.com.
We don't like to brag brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit. But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that. Don't just survive. Thrive.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
KG here for more weed, believe it or not. But let me tell you about Gold Crown. Stop everything for a second because Gold Crown just went completely overboard. And I'm talking about the new Royal Jesters. And I know I always bring up the juniors. The juniors hit absolutely amazing, but the Jesters is for my grown folks out there. We talking 1.5 grams each, quad infused, Keef coated, live resin infused, THCA diamonds, and terpenes all packed into one. That's 4 layers of you are good after this. Michigan made, top tier, no shortcuts. Next time you hit the dispo, don't think, just ask for Royal Jesters, because if you're gonna smoke, you should, y'all, smoke like royalty.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports, 11 to 1 weekdays. Hit the like button if you're watching. It takes a second, pushes us out in the algorithm, and helps the show. I'm your host, Jeff Iafrate. Got my co-host over there, Booner. We got KG. We got Caleb Czarnik. We got everyone in the chat, so keep the comments going. We're getting into the cut candidates for the 2026 season. We talked with
Big
Doc.
topic.
He gave out some names. And I think there are names that we probably could all mutually agree on. I think there's a lot of guys. It's hard right now because they got to get to – I mean, they got to shave a lot of these guys off the roster. Even some of the veterans they signed. We just talked about Cedric Wilson, who probably will get cut at some point.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? Chuck Clark, we like him. He could get cut at some point. But there's names that people aren't talking about. And you got one, Booner, so I'll let you cook on it.
I don't know if people are going to like this one. I don't know if people are going to be like, Booner, this isn't happening. I think it's a realistic one because I think it partially has to do with contract as well.
This used to be a Booner guy.
Oh.
I switched my guy.
Okay, I lose track sometimes.
I switched the guy. Wait, maybe.
This was definitely a guy of yours.
What position are you thinking?
I'm thinking of the guy you're about to say.
Is it this name? Is it this name right here?
No.
Different name. I juked Jeff Iafrate out because it was a Booner guy that you were talking about. I switched to a different guy this morning because you start looking at contracts and like when there's a cut candidate, in my opinion, one has to do with did they bring a player in that's better than X player. Is the contract, are you going to be able to save money if you cut him? Because if it's a guy that's going to be able to contribute and you have him cheap and you're not going to save money, there's no point in cutting him because you got him at a good price. This player, they did give a deal. They extended this player. He went out into the market. He was a restricted free agent. The San Francisco 49ers offered him a massive deal, and the Lions had no choice if they wanted to keep him around but to match it. It's tight end Brock Wright. Mm-hmm. I think there's a serious thought process this coming off season after maybe during training camp or even post June 1, to where Brock Wright potentially is a guy that's off this roster. And the reason I say that, he's due I think around $4 or $5 million this season. You cut him post June 1, you only have to pay him about $1.5 million. So you're saving over $3 million this next year if you move on from Brock Wright. And people are like, well, Boone, like he's really good in blocking. You look at the new personnel that maybe Drew Petzing wants to bring in. I totally get that. Yeah. But when you're talking about blocking tight ends, those are guys you can go out and get on a $1 million deal, a $2 million deal, cheaper than a Brock Wright. Because if you're paying a guy, in my opinion, $4 or $5 million as a tight end, like you should be able to go out there and get me 20, 30 catches a year.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it, especially at a tight end too. And when you needed another tight end to step up to get catches, Brock Wright has done it in the past. But it was like really, I feel like it was like never really on Brock Wright. Like when Sam Laporta went down last year, you didn't really have a tight end presence at all. And this year in free agency, you know what they did? They went on a vet minimum and went and got Tyler Conklin.
Who was a better pass catcher.
100%. Yep. And when I went and looked at the years, the last 3 years, right? You guys even want to just look at last year with Tyler Conklin in the Chargers. His best year last year, or Tyler Conklin's year last year, he had 7 catches for 100 yards. Dude, Brock Wright, his most in a season the last 3 years was 108 yards.
Oh, wow.
108 yards. He had 22 catches last year for 108 yards. Tyler Conklin had 7 catches for over 100.
All right.
So like you're starting to compare and you go, okay, who's more valuable for your roster? Tyler Conklin 2 years ago in 2024, I mean, we've had conversations with him about what happened in L.A., and it was just a bad situation, right? Like, he went in there, he was potentially told something, it didn't work out, right? Yeah. But you look at his Jets year 2 years ago, the guy had 72 catches as a tight end for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's 2 years ago. That's not 4 or 5 years ago. That's like a recent Tyler Conklin. Yeah. And then the year before, you even look, 61 catches for over 600 yards. Tyler Conklin he gives you production.
Right. And he did that with bad quarterbacks.
Yes. And Brock Wright, what production does he give you? 100 yards a year? And you're paying him $4 or $5 million compared to Tyler Conklin vet minimum. So at that point, it's like, hey, if you can save over $3 million post June 1 cut and go out and what would you do with that $3 million? What have we talked about the last couple of weeks, boys? Go out and get yourself a Cam Jordan for $3 million. Go get a Jadeveon Clowney who got paid. Okay, Jadeveon Clowney last year got paid $3 million. Had what? How many sacks was it? 9.5? 8.5? Go do that. Like, I would cut Brock Wright and go get a Jadeveon Clowney and let Tyler Conklin be that tight end too.
But they're going to run. Here's the problem with that, and I get what you're saying, because they're saving a couple $1 million. I understand that.
The personnel.
It's the personnel thing.
Okay, then what do you do?
Because you have Tyler Conklin.
You just going to roll with 2 tight ends for the year?
And you're not, 2 guys that aren't near as the same blocker as Brock Wright is. Like, that's the problem.
What's easier to get? A tight end right now in the NFL that can get you 400 or 500 yards, or a tight end that's in training camp that might get cut that you can go get that can block for you?
Here's the thing about Brock.
It's easier to get a blocking tight end.
He knows. I mean, Dan has talked about Brock Wright a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He's very. I mean, he does a lot of dirty work. So it's not just you're bringing a guy to block. He's someone they depend on in those situations. And Drew Petzing, they're going to run a lot of 13 personnel. I think there's a lot of value there. And I'm looking at $4 million tight ends. I mean, bro, these guys are buns.
I do.
I mean,
you guys can't tell me you can't.
$4 million tight ends. I mean, we're talking like.
You can't go out and get a blocking tight end.
For
$1.5 million.
But
you can. I just think they don't need the $3 million enough to be like see a Brock Wright. I think they value his presence there. They'll eat $3 million.
But what happens if Sam Laporta goes down again and you have 0 tight end presence like you did last year? Think
That's
about
what
it.
Tyler
Sam
Conklin's
Laporta.
They signed Conklin.
But Sam Laporta missed half of the year. Brock Wright had 100 yards all year. You had nothing.
But that's why they signed Conklin. He's just had 600,
Save
700
$3 million.
yards.
Go out and get Jadeveon Clowney. Spend an extra $2 million. Go get another blocking tight end. There you go. I just fixed your offense. You're good to go.
Okay.
No, I get what you're trying to cook. I understand. I understand.
And I know people love Brock Wright. He's a fan favorite.
Well,
and he's a great blocking tight end.
I just
but,
see the
hey,
value.
where can we save some money to add to this team? I would rather sign a Jadeveon, let go of Brock Wright, sign Jadeveon. Now your edge room is locked in.
The biggest question is, what does Drew Petzing think of Brock Wright?
He probably loves him.
Yeah, because he fits the scheme.
He probably
I think he
loves
wants
him.
to keep him around because of course, the uncertainty of Laporta's health, but he's going to want to run that 13 personnel like he did in Arizona. So I mean, I think I like your reasoning, Booner, but I think just kind of in the grand scheme of things, I think Brock Wright is going to be someone
dependent on.
I just want to ask the chat. I would love to ask the chat. Like, would you rather have Jadeveon Clowney in the building and cut Brock Wright, or keep Brock Wright and no Jadeveon?
Come on, bro.
Well, clearly,
that's
think,
the decision I'm making right now here. If I'm Brad Holmes,
well, or you can just have both if you really wanted to.
You really could.
I mean, you could really just.
You
keep
guys
Brock
think
Wright.
Brad Holmes? He's
Why
a guy,
cut your nose despite your
he's
face?
what do they call him out in the world? The coupon people. That's Brad Holmes right now. So it's like, hey, let's save $3 million to go get.
But would you agree that Brock Wright is your best blocking tight end?
He is,
and
right
you
now.
need him for this
Sam
scheme.
Laporta, when he's healthy.
Well, yeah,
is
Sam
better.
Laporta, but you're not going to have him
they
for
ain't
at
asking him to. I mean, he'll block, but now Brock Wright just strictly blocks.
Yeah.
I mean, we tried looking for PFF data on the guy. He doesn't have enough snaps.
Why are we act like Brock Wright's like the greatest blocking tight end of all time when I go to PFF and he didn't even play? He didn't even play enough blocking snaps for it to count. So how do we know how good he really is?
You don't have Sam Laporta right now. I do love Tyler Conklin, but Brock Wright is a better blocker, and for this team that wants to run the football, you need him, especially early in the season. You're going to need him.
I'll throw out another name. We got to have this conversation, by the way. This is not me. I'll look at the camera and talk about this.
I'm sorry, dude. I feel bad for this one, man.
So, the prodigy, the 6'8", 350
It's time.
Offensive lineman from British Columbia.
It's time.
Oh, man.
And I think I saw
Do we
him.
have the Taps music?
I think
I don't, but
I saw a clip of Giovanni Manu jumping vertically at that size, and I said, this guy's a specimen. This guy's Jordan
Oh,
Mailata.
I was sold when they drafted.
This guy is Jordan Mailata. Now we get to this point.
I
mean, he could be greeting me at Walmart at this point. So I think I've already settled on Giovanni Manu. I think it's done. It's over. You're at a type, especially with you draft Blake Miller. You had the offensive line room looking the way it is. I don't see how it makes sense. I mean, he almost got Jared Goff killed last year.
You're not even keeping him for tackle depth, because what other depth you have at tackle?
Yeah, but he sucks.
I get that.
The only reason you could say he plays tackle is the T on the depth chart on ESPN.
I get that.
That's the only indication he plays tackle, because if watching him, I don't know what he plays. Yeah. He played tackle and started in a tough, a tough spot, Trey Hendrickson. I mean, that's tough. I understand that.
Yeah, he did almost get Goff.
Jared Goff, I know, don't lie, KG. You watched that game.
I did, yeah, that shit was bad.
A couple of those hits, you're like, please get up, Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I just think the time is, and maybe Brad Holmes, we know with Brad, he gives his guys a little more time because it's his draft pick. Yeah. But if we could just sit down with Brad, we'd be like, Brad, do you think this man's going to turn
I just wonder what
I think do?
If Blake
off
Miller
the record,
gets
he'd be
hurt,
like, no.
what do be like, who's that depth?
Well, it's going to be Larry Borum.
Oh yeah,
that signing, that's the thing where I thought Giovanni was safe up until obviously if the conversation was if they draft a tackle early, then obviously that guy's going to probably slot in as a starter. And then when they signed Larry Borum, you were like, wait a second, is Larry Borum going to be the starter? And then as soon as they drafted Blake Miller, you're like, oh, Larry Borum's kind of that sixth man on this offensive line. He's the swing tackle. He's the Dan Skipper. And if someone goes down, Larry Borum's the one that steps up. And then it's like, at that point, remember last year, it was tough for Giovanni Manu. Like, people, like, the only reason he had the job or had a spot on the roster is because they wanted to give him one more year. He got that one more year. He had the opportunity, and Dan Skipper was the one that had to step up. Remember, they let Gio do it. They're like, this is you. It's not Skip anymore. And then they had to go back to Skip. And they're like, oh, this guy's too bad. We're going back to Skip. Yeah. Now Skip's retired, and then they brought Larry Borum in. And they're like, you know what, Gio? We just signed someone else for you.
Coach Skip now.
It's over.
Coach Skip.
By the way, Chuck Brewer in the chat says, wasn't he an extra roster spot because he was an American, or was that somebody else? That was Ahmed Hassan. Yeah, I remember I saw a clip of Giovanni Manu's coach. Like, he has, it's a coach out in British Columbia. I saw an interview after he was drafted, and his coach was, hyping him up. And I remember we talked about it on Crunch Time, and I was like, this guy.
Dude, was it the size we fell for? Like, what
it's
did we
the size.
Do you guys remember that workout video that he posted? We posted on Crunch Time. I'm sure Woodward, you guys did. It was like, wait a second.
His calves. I've never seen a man with that size calves.
I hear you, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not one to look at another man's calves, but this is the exception.
What did you call him? 6'6", no gut?
I said to Booner, I said, this man is 6'8", 350 pounds, and has no gut.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, and
he was like the Terminator when he got drafted. Just couldn't figure out football.
I mean, if this doesn't work out, if I'm Canada, you're on our special forces, bro.
Yeah.
We're sending you. If we go to war with anybody, we're sending Giovanni.
We're going down the street though in a couple years to Fifth Ave here to go out for a nice night after a Super Bowl win, and you know who the bouncer's going to be? It's going to be a Giovanni Manu.
Oh yeah, big fan.
He could. I mean, he's out in Canada. He could be Drake's bodyguard.
Real shit. Yeah. He'd be a great bouncer. All-time Hall of Fame bouncer.
I mean,
he'd be one of those bouncers or the bodyguards that walk around with Twitch streamers.
Yeah. I mean, we may need security at the Woodward Sports Studios.
No, that's
we
facts.
could get Giovanni Manu at the door, and you got to go through his ass to get in the building.
Danny G said Jeff's a calf guy.
They matter. I mean,
calves matter.
I mean, don't tell me calves.
This guy will not stop coming.
I mean,
no!
There we go.
That's my favorite Jeff drop.
Don't act like calves don't matter. I mean, everyone in the chat's caught themselves looking at another man's calves once or twice.
Well, I would say a woman's, but not a man's. I'm not looking at a man's calves.
You check out guys' calves?
I mean, it's like that guy's got big calves, man.
Nah, I ain't never.
I will say I have encountered.
Guys,
people.
I was kidding.
No, big dog.
Dude, I've definitely encountered people though where they're wearing shorts and their calves are like watermelons, and I'm like, dude, that cannot be real.
Yeah.
Like that calf can't be real.
It's just, you know what I mean?
It's like they go to the gym and all they do is just calf raises for 2 hours, and then they leave.
Different. But yeah, no, it's over. Giovanni Manu, that book is closed, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Am I crazy? You guys have faith in him?
No, I mean, I just, like you said, Larry Borum is a good point, though. When they signed him, it's kind of wraps on Manu. And, I mean, it's been too long, man. It's been years now. You haven't progressed at all from where they drafted you at, and the footwork just ain't there. The size, you would have loved to have that size on the offensive line, but I think it's time. It's time to get rid of him.
Yeah, Jeff, that was kind of my number one guy. We put him on the lower third. Giovanni Manu is the number one cut candidate for.
Damn, number one?
for the Detroit Lions. I'm also looking at, like, when we're talking about cut candidates, and this kind of circles back to the positional battles we had. I think whoever kind of loses that, like if it's a Dominic Lovett, like if he loses that wide receiver 4 spot, I know he got drafted last year and he could play a little bit of special teams for you, but Dominic Lovett's a guy I'm going to keep an eye on here these next couple months. I think he's a potential cut candidate as well, unfortunately.
John Lord says, LOL, Jeff looking at Calf Magazine.
Is there a Calf magazine?
You have to disrespect them during the compliment. It's actually true.
Yeah.
I mean, one minute we're talking about the guy's got great calves. The other minute, his nickname, they called him Giovanni Manure. That's what people were throwing out. I didn't think of it.
That's pretty bad.
I didn't think of it. Someone else more creative than me thought of it.
I do have a cut candidate of my own, and it's funny because Doc brought his name up, and I still to this day do not understand why we signed him behind the Marcus Davenport experience, and that would be said Peyton Turner.
That's a great one.
Peyton Turner, the light-skinned Marcus Davenport, as I have dubbed him. Just why, bro, he's been out of football for a year and some change, bro. Like, why? Did you not learn from Emmanuel Mosley? Did you not learn from Marcus Davenport? And when you just look at that edge room, you know, DJ Wanham, you expect him to start. Derek Moore, we expect a lot of great things out of. I'm very intrigued by Ahmed Hassanin. I'm mad he didn't get a chance to play last year. So those 3, I doubt you keep 4 edges on that side, and that would kind of like peace out Peyton Turner.
Yeah.
And even when he's healthy, what has he done? He hasn't done
anything. It's a good
anything.
question. He's actually missed more games than played, I think.
In his career.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the point of
the
that?
Peyton Turner, I think that's just a camp battle. Like, just get him in, see if we can, like, it's like you're trying to just squeeze the last out of a guy. Like, he did have talent at one point. Maybe this is a spot. It's like one of those things with players, like maybe a new location or a new kind of presence will help revitalize his career. I don't think it will, but I think that's kind of their mindset because he was cheap too. The one I got a question for you guys. I originally had him on the list, but I pulled it back because of the depth in that room, in the defensive tackle room. But what about Levi Onwuzurike?
I was thinking about him, but I think they need him because you don't have Roy Lopez this year.
That was the thing. I think if they brought back Roy or they brought back DJ Reader, maybe
he'd have been gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think they got rid of Pascal. Pascal was brought back on the same type of shit that Levi was.
And they let him go. I think there's just a world where it's when you do start seeing, you know how like Brad does love when other players leave training camps and get cut. He loves to pick guys up that he feels like has high potential. I think Levi is in that spot right now where he's maybe 1 or 2 players away getting added to this defense. Then he's the next guy off. Unless he proves it.
I think he's probably to what KG and you both said. I would think Levi stays just because out of necessity.
Yeah.
It's more so because they lost Roy Lopez, DJ Reader. Not that Levi plays that you know, he's not a nose tackle, but Roy Lopez they were putting out at like 3 tack. Like he's athletic enough to where they were playing him in that 3 tack.
I wanted them to bring Roy back.
And 2 people in the chat, Derek said Levi has shown he could produce when he's healthy. I've been like one of the biggest Levi guys.
Brad likes him for sure.
I think a lot of people
he had 1
hate on
year
him.
that he produced. The rest have been injury riddled and no shows.
But that's the thing though, and that's been my point with Levi is he produced when he was healthy. If he stays healthy, he can help you. But if he's not, like that's the issue. It's like, can he stay healthy? Because when he's healthy, remember like some of these defensive tackles and remember the offensive tackle, who was it? Who was the Lions right guard? Kevin Zeitler. Yeah. Kevin Zeitler was like, Levi if he's healthy and he's at his best, he's like,
he was trying to get his man's paid.
I'm just saying.
Man,
I'm just saying. And he's not the worst. He can stop the run. He can get to the quarterback if you need him to. I think the thing with Levi is it's what you said. Can he stay healthy? Because when he's healthy, you don't want him to be your starter, but he's a great guy off like in a rotation. I just think like KG.
Roy Lopez showed up and in 1 year showed you that.
But he was healthy. But again, I think with Levi I think a lot of people look at Levi as he needs to be a starter because he was a second-round guy. Let's rip that away.
Yeah, he's a bust.
Is he a rotational guy in the NFL? Yeah, he is if he's healthy.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Let's go to break. We get back. ESPN said something very interesting about Drew Petzing, Lions' new offensive coordinator. Let's dive into that because we haven't really got into the Drew Petzing conversation, just confidence level, how we feel about the offense, OTAs is right now. Yeah. So it's worth the conversation. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Mad Packs.
Ooh, I know about Mad Packs. Shout out
Mad Packs. One of the best in the business. And I'm talking to the Mad Pack fans. If you're looking to elevate your rotation, listen up. You already know about the high-low and the boom chakalaka, but Mad Packs is something fresh for the new year. Look out for Mad Packs Extracts, Blizzard Packs, the perfect things to get you through a Michigan summer and winter. Stay tuned with Woodward Sports Network for all the latest updates.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
I'll tell you what, gentlemen, I'm pretty hungry right now, and there's not going to be much that is going to stop me from getting some buddies here at lunch. They've been celebrating the original Detroit-style pizza for the last 80 years, and they are grateful to be your hometown favorite. Follow their social channels and join the rewards program to see what they have planned through 2026. Add some Detroit style to your next event with some buddies catering. Their menu is packed with fan favorites, including their award-winning pizza, signature salads, home-style pastas, and more. Save 20% on your next catering order of $200 or more when you order with promo code Woodward20. Visit buddiespizza.com/catering to view their complete menu and place your order today. Shout out Buddies Pizza.
We're back, crunch time on Woodward Sports. We're kind of cruising through the second hour. If you haven't liked the stream, you're a psychopath.
We're crunching through the hour.
Like the stream. Like the stream. We had a great show today. It's been great. You people in the chat's flying. The engagement's been awesome. Super chats are flying in. Caleb, let's get to some of those before we get to Drew Petsy.
Yeah, we got some super chats here. Shout out Nitty Gritty with the
My
199.
dog, shout out.
This is from the Tiger segment we did. He said Kamala Harris
Whoa.
put together a better team. Not
We
a
got
politics
political.
show. Not
Yeah.
a politics show. We're not a politics show.
Right.
And then shout out our guy Lucas Klotz with the 199. Shout out Klotzy. He says Jeff thinks Shedeur is better than Kyler Murray.
Oh,
Jeff,
Jeff,
no.
Thoughts on that one?
Jeff, come on, bro. Put a little respect on it. Just a little bit.
Come on.
Oh,
Look at him!
Honestly, I would take Shedeur
Perfect
Sanders
timing.
over Kyler Murray.
Not right now.
I would.
In 2 or 3 years, yes. Not right now.
I'll say this. The Kyler Murray glaze is getting out of control.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm going to address that. I've been talking about Kyler Murray in our group chat, but I'll have a take for that on the show.
You've
Don't
been
worry
talking to Kyler Murray?
no.
Oh,
I would be
that's what you
talking
said.
down to Kyler Murray if I were to talk to
Jesus
him.
Christ.
But
is it full on glaze though, or is it just with me like me? I'm warning the people.
You're a little better. I mean, you're fair. You're more fair. I disagree with you. Klotz, it's kind of like he's in and out.
I think Klotz thinks Kyler Murray's going to win the
in and
NFC
out.
North.
That's
the feeling I get from Lucas Klotz.
Well, then he'll say, well, he's going to be electric. And I'm like, okay, what's electric? He's like, well, he won't be top 10, and he's not going to have great stats. It's like, what are you electric? He's got to pick a side. I'm talking to you, Klotz. We'll talk about Kyler Murray.
Hey, by the way,
shout out Klotz, man.
Who farted in the chat? This is how Jeff compares people. Who has better calves, Jeff? Shedeur Sanders or Kyler Murray?
That's a great question. That's a great
You a
question.
calf guy. Come
That's
on.
good. That's really the tell.
Come on, Jeff.
I might have to give Kyler Murray the Cavs.
Oh, no.
Baseball player. He's more athletic than Shedeur. Shedeur has
Baseball players have bigger calves?
I mean, he's more athletic.
Okay.
Than Shedeur. Shedeur can't move.
Yeah, shorter legs, big, shorter strides.
CKG, you with me?
Yeah, I
You
get
with
it.
me?
Well, I don't look at calves. I'm just trying to help my man.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
He's trying to loop everyone into
I
that
appreciate
one.
you. Let's get to Drew Petzing. And by the way, we've talked about Drew Petzing, but I don't think we really have given our takes fully on what we expect out of Drew Petzing. And
We've talked about his head. We haven't really talked about.
We've just talked about his shiny head. We haven't talked about the schematic side of things or what we think about him as an offensive coordinator. Because John Morton, let's just say, he stunk. Okay, no better way to say it. He stunk, and now they hired Drew Petzing. And I'll say this: Drew Petzing is a home run hire for the Detroit Lions. That's what I think. And I think he and Ben Johnson are going to be very similar, at least the feel in Detroit. And you're talking to one of, if not the biggest, Ben Johnson lover, supporter, Glazer, call me whatever you want. That's why they call me a Bears fan. And I'm that confident in Drew Petzing. And I have not put a stake down on an OC yet and said, this is my guy after Ben, because John Morton stunk. And I was looking at all the other guys, and I'm like, can they kind of replace what they had with Ben? I think they can with Drew Petzing. They both run a very, very similar offensive scheme, which you got to love. It's the trend of the NFL and where it's going. 13 personnel. What did the Bears just do? They drafted another tight end, Sam Roush, my guy out of Stanford, to go with Cole Kmet and Colson Loveland. He's going to 13 personnel. Drew Petzing's already been in 13 personnel. Sean McVay uses 13 personnel as well. Both those guys, Ben and Drew, both utilize that kind of West Coast heavy play action, pre-snap motion, heavy pre-snap motion, which is where the NFL is right now. All the great offensive play callers do it, and a lot of play action. He wants a pocket passer, which that's why he thrived with Jacoby Brissett. Now he has Jared Goff. Drew Petzing has a great situation here with the Detroit Lions, and I think the play calling comparison between him and John Morton is going to be insanely different. It's going to be much, much more improved. And I know there's skepticism with what happened in Arizona, and I understand that. You still got to see Drew Petzing go out there and call plays. I understand that as well. But just from maybe a schematic DNA or the makeup of Drew Petzing, I think everyone should be very, very excited for it, because he's young, he's bright, he's creative, and he's a very, very intelligent dude. I mean, me and Booner got a chance to speak to him twice at the Combine, and we got to talk to him. Great guy, but obviously very, very intelligent. And what have you seen already coming out of the Detroit Lions camp? Like, he's been working with Jared Goff very early. They're already in the room together. And the biggest job for a defensive or Detroit Lions offensive coordinator is to what? Be best friends with Jared Goff. If Jared Goff likes you, you're doing something right. And I can tell you already, Jared Goff likes Drew Petzing so much more than John Morton. You can just tell the chemistry is there, and I think it's going to work out very, very well. I don't know what that means in terms of ranking. Are they going to break Ben's records? I could give a damn about any of that. The question is he going to be a good OC or not? And I would tend to lean on the side of yes. I do think he will be.
Yeah, I don't think you need them to break the records, to your point.
I don't care about any of that.
No, I think it's just to get back to where you were in 2024. And I think it's the small things that you have to bring up where John Morton couldn't kind of get to that point. It was like the third down, or not the third downs, but the third quarters. It was converting it. Yeah. Definitely on third downs. It felt like every single thing that meant something in an NFL game when it comes to your offense, outside of points, it felt like you regressed in a massive manner with John Morton. To where Drew Petzing, to your point, he's worked with Ben Johnson. They have similar schemes, right? Is Ben Johnson maybe a better mind when it comes to, trick plays? Probably. Like that, he's one of a kind, in my opinion. Ben Johnson is when it comes to those different things. But when you talk about like the meats and potatoes of an offense, when you're trying to convert third downs, when you're trying to score in the red zone, when you're trying to not have 3 and outs, like eliminate your 3 and outs in the third quarter that you had last year. You just got to get back to the basics, in my opinion, when it comes to that. Like running the ball, play action. I had a stat here that said it was basically play action. How many times did each team have run play action in 2024 and 2025? The Lions in 2024 with Ben Johnson had 220 play action snaps. In 2025, it dropped down to 159.
But that's because of your O-line, too.
And that with the O-line, but also, too, like John Morton was just trying to do his kind of things. Like he was incorporating the things that you could tell, and like there was a butting of the heads, I think, between John Morton and Jared Goff, John Morton and the O-line, and there was a butting of the heads, and you just saw like when your offense is good, it's 200 plus play action passes or play action plays from Jared Goff, right? You're putting him in the best position possible. You add the O-line to it, it makes it even better. Arizona, with not a great O-line, not a great quarterback, not great receivers, not great running backs, they were top 5 in play action the last 2 years. So it's like Drew Petzing does that. That's his game. And even in the run game, the one thing that I was trying to find, like, all right, where does Drew Petzing set himself apart from other OCs in the game? The one thing to me is if in your run game, if one, your offensive line is decent, but also schematically, if you're setting your team up correctly, yards before contact for a running back, in my opinion, you could put that on a running back being good, but also, in my opinion, that's schematics, right? Like, what kind of plays are you calling for your team? What is offensive line-wise? What are you setting kind of them up for? In 2025, the Arizona Cardinals with Drew Petzing had 1,384 yards before contact with their running backs. The Detroit Lions had 20 less yards than that. And you're talking about with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery compared to, I don't know,
James Conner,
Michael Carter, Amari DeMarcado, Bam Knight.
Yeah.
And they had more yards before contact than the Detroit Lions did last year. So you're bringing that offensive coordinator. Imagine now what he could do with the Jahmyr Gibbs and Isaiah Pacheco, and now a more upgraded offensive line. Like, he's going to be able to go in there and have a field day, and he has other offensive minds like Scotty Montgomery and such in that room to kind of choice as well, the running backs coach. You have that now. So I think when you look at him, it's, hey, he's going to kind of get this offense back to the identity that we've known them for, and it's, hey, running the ball, getting your best running back in the NFL, Jahmyr Gibbs, in open field, making sure he's not getting that contact. We talked about it with Neil before, like running him between the tackles. Like, dude, like David Montgomery, that was a reason why you had David Montgomery, but they were trying to do it with Jahmyr Gibbs, like finding ways to get him in open field and using that as well to set Jared Goff up in what he's great at. Let's dude, Jared Goff should not have 150 plays in play action. He should have 200 plus if you want to be elite.
He's one of the best play action quarterbacks in the league.
Even if you have a bad offensive line, like that should just be a setup. Like, no matter what, like, get this guy out in play action and let him make plays. That's where he's at his best.
The thing I like about Drew Petzing as well is what I like about Drew Petzing specifically is exactly kind of what Ben's background was, is when he became the OC, he coached wide receivers, he coached tight ends. Drew Petzing has coached pretty much every position on offense. He's done that. And, he has the history with Ben Johnson, but I think the Lions got back to what they had with Ben. Now, I don't know about specifically with ceiling and everything, but that young, creative offensive mind that the league – you just saw Clint Kubiak get a job. Like, where the league is right now, I think the Lions got back to with Drew Petzing.
No, and I get that. And I'm not worried about Drew from a run game standpoint, because even in Arizona, his rush numbers were pretty,
very
solid.
good,
but in terms of the passing game, and that's the thing that we heard coming over, ain't necessarily a strong suit. You saw the Lions go out and get Mike Kafka, who I thought could have been just the OC, period. But they want to do it in tandem. How does that work, having two guys in that room, one working specifically in the pass game but running Drew Petzing's offense? Like, how will that look as the season goes along in y'all eyes?
I think it's exactly how you described it. I think they're going to work in tandem. You have one guy who's very good at with what he does in the run game, and you have Mike Kafka, who was the pass game coordinator with Mahomes when he had incredible seasons, and he's done really a good job out in New York. So I think it's exactly what you described, and I think Dan knows that just as well as anybody. That's probably why they got those two guys in the building as well.
But you think it'll work? There'll be no butting of heads, no.
I don't think so, because I think Mike Kafka kind of knew what it was when he got there. I think he knows, like, hey, Drew Petzing's the OC. I'm going to help out where I can. I'm sure the fan base is going to be like, if Drew Petzing struggles the first couple games, it's going to be like, get Mike Kafka, let him call plays. But I don't think internally, no.
And by the way, too, with
the fans are going to
with Drew Petzing, I don't think people realize, like with John Morton, the one thing the vibe I got from John Morton, very hard-headed. He's a football guy, right? Everyone says he watches a bunch of film. In my opinion, I felt like John Morton was, hey, it's my way or it's the highway. Like, he was butting heads with the offensive line. Like, that's why you were good for years. And he was having issues, and they were going to the media saying the opposites. I'll say this with Drew Petzing. Like, if you think there's any, like, butting of the heads within it, there's going to be none.
No, it's more collaborative, I think.
He seems like he's the most down-to-earth guy. Like, he is going to, like, hear something that one of these guys say, Mike Kafka, and he's going to be like, okay, yeah, let's figure this out. Like, if you want it this way, all right, let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll figure something else out. Which, that was the opposite of John Morton. That's what Ben was, too. Ben, it was very well known. Remember, Ben would be like, hey, like, for the trick plays, they were like, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? He's like, dude, it's not even me. He's like, I have a little trick play committee of guys, of 2 or 3 assistant coaches who sit there all week, and they look at the defenses and where can we get trick plays out of them. And, like, that's where I think Drew Petzing is going to be so much better than John Morton is. He's a guy that's going to trust his coaches. He's going to take everyone's kind of thing in. Dan Campbell obviously already said, like, hey, when I tell him this, I tell him that, I want this, I don't want that. Instantly, he's like, all right, how do we adjust to it? And that's something like John Morton just did not have that.
No. And Detroit Lions fans, think about this. You have Mike Kafka, Drew Petzing, and Dan Campbell, all 3 of those offensive minds in the same room. It's like the freaking offensive Avengers. I mean, that's Dan Campbell called plays. It worked out really well for you in the second half of the year. Drew Petzing's capable of calling plays. Mike Kafka has been a head coach and called plays. You have those 3 in the room with you. Now, defense is a whole other conversation, but at least on offense, like, you're going to be okay with that schedule.
They ain't bring anybody in to help Shep, though. That's all I know.
That's the issue.
And that's the problem.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not, and that's actually not even, that part isn't on shit. Like, that's on Dan Campbell. Like, what are we doing? Get that man some, like, get him his own, like, Kafka.
Right.
Get him somebody on the defense. Let's go to break, and then we'll come back.
Real quick, I just want to Will.i.am. He gave $5. He said Drew Petzing and Mike Kafka are 2 minds on offense. Our offense is going to be a nightmare for DCs. 2 heads better than 1.
Yeah.
I think it's spot on.
And I think those two guys will work well together. I don't see them being problematic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think, at least from what I've read about both, I don't see them being like hotheads or intense.
I'd be shocked, honestly.
If it does, well, this will age poorly, but I don't think so. Let's go to break. When we get back, we'll finish out the show here. We got to hear about our friends. Actually, no, we'll come back and hear about our friends from Water Hazard. Shout out. But right now, we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. One's great. Two, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All Day IPA. Hop into easy.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
All right, let me tell you guys about the greatest drink of all time. It's Water Hazard. We're excited to add Water Hazard to the bullpen from our friends over at Founders Brewing. You've probably seen that bright blue drink. You see it right there, that can right there. It's a beautiful can. That is Water Hazard. Best served over ice with a slice, and preferably of a lemon. I'm going to try that this weekend. I keep saying I'm going to try it this weekend. It's a vodka-based cocktail, 5% ABV, the citrusy, refreshing, and gluten-free. It's also the very first canned vodka cocktail from Founders, and it's perfect in between innings or even between rounds. So next time you're out, get in the drink with Water Hazard, and please drink responsibly.
Anything perfect between innings with this.
We're back. It's crunch time on Woodward Sports. If you're watching, hit that like button.
I need to try this drink with the lemon.
Takes a second. The Water Hazard with a lemon would be deadly. I mean, it's delicious on its own.
Yeah.
It's actually a secret weapon for the golf course and just for hanging out, honestly. I'm very skeptical of everything I try. But then I tried it, and I was like, this is one of the best things I've ever had.
It's incredible.
It's amazing. Get those mailbag questions fired up. We got about 9 minutes left. We have questions like Danny G, better Caps, Mike or Drew? Kafka or Petsing?
The world's dying for your response.
We're way too deep in this rabbit hole, I think, now.
No, I think this is the new bees.
You did it to yourself, though. I can't lie.
That's fair. You got to go with 5-7 Drew Petsing, right? I mean, that's got to be the answer. Eduardo, mailbag, do you trust the Lions to make the NFC Championship?
No.
That's yeah.
No.
Can they?
Possibly.
I think they can.
Things have to go.
Hold on. We'll defer to Booner. He's Mr. Contender.
They're a contender. I think they're a contender. Like,
so they should make
what is the Booner path for the Lions this year?
I think I've always said this. The expectations this year, and then people might not like this, I think you just have to get back in the winning column in the playoffs. That's it. And if you do that, everything after that, I'm excited for. I'm happy for. I'm going to use your guys' Pistons logic to you. There's an expectation at the beginning of the season, right? Now, I have the logic of if you have a good year and your team starts to look really good, that expectation changes, which, example, Pistons, I thought Eastern Conference Finals. Before the year,
Except
you guys
the Lions
you said before the year you expected
the Pistons to be in
the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, before the year it was win a series.
Okay.
But when they win 60 games, get the 1 seed, I'm like, okay, I'm switching it. Just make the conference finals.
The Lions also have like 9 all-pro players.
They have 4.
It's a little different.
2 on each
not
side.
The same, yeah.
For the Lions, it's just, hey, you did not make the playoffs last year. You haven't won a playoff game in 2 seasons. Just get in the playoffs, get in the dance, win a playoff game. That's my expectation. That's where I'm at with it. Now, can they make the Super Bowl? Can they make the championship NFC? I think they can.
A lot of things have.
Will they? I don't know. I can't sit here and be like, do you trust they can do it? Don't trust it because they just missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, and they still got some holes on this roster. We hope that they improve as the year goes along, but there's a lot of holes on the roster.
I ain't gonna be. I don't trust them to make the NFC Championship game. Bro.
Nah,
I'll just say that.
I'll sit here in my trust circle by myself
and say they can, but they will, but they might, but they might not.
If you're
I'm rocking with the Booner path. This version of the Booner.
Yeah,
path.
this
if
version.
it changes, I might get off.
It might develop through the off season.
Yeah,
and we might develop the Booner path a little bit.
Neil said it best, man. If they're a Super Bowl team, we won't know it until we see it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I think. You got to see it first.
Yeah.
Chuck says, mailbag, what did you two learn the most in your time away? What did you miss the most about being here?
I miss the boys and all the. Well, I say the boys because there's
they
women here
changed a
too, but
little
just
bit.
everyone, just like being with all of our friends.
Yeah, it's a
KG,
family at the end of the day.
Spenny, Easy, Nick, all the boys.
I don't think people. Well, maybe people
Joey
understand
Stitt.
that, but it is truly a family here. I mean, it is a family work environment. You don't get that everywhere, really.
No.
Even in this business, man, there's places where you come in, you do your show, you leave.
Mm-hmm.
This place is unique and different. No matter what you say about Woodward Sports, you can never take away the companionship, the family that's here. I mean, everyone's tight. Everyone hangs out outside of work.
Ain't trying to step on no toes. We all can eat.
Well, yeah.
Everyone eats here.
thrive.
No one's, going at each other's throat. I'll even say this. Check that group chat, dude. People are arguing in it, talking sports. I mean, that's what it's
This
about.
morning.
Yeah. That's
Every
what it's
day
about,
with
man.
y'all.
And
Thank
I will
God
say
I'm
too,
not there.
when we left before too, it was like people thought that we didn't like the people. No, we love everyone.
Yeah, it was higher up.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with anyone that we worked with. Nothing. We loved everyone.
Yeah.
Joey, Stick, all the boys. Like those are our brothers.
Got
for
me
life.
thinking. I was sad when y'all left, man.
Man,
Damn, I remember that time, bro.
I think for us too, like people, it was heartbreaking for us.
Yeah, we didn't want to leave.
We were like,
let's just
man.
be real here. I mean, you guys knew that, but it was just
It worked out for the best, though.
Yeah,
y'all created something beautiful out of it. So.
Well, and I appreciate that, KG. I mean, Chuck
for
asked,
real.
what did you learn the most? I think it's just that. Like, there's a lot of things that I think we learned with Crunch Time that coming back to Woodward, we can help with Woodward as well.
Absolutely.
And vice versa. They can help us and teach us a lot of things, and we can help Woodward. That's what a partnership is.
Yeah.
We're exchanging secrets.
Yeah.
We're bringing some, especially from the YouTube side, the social side. So
Yeah,
it's nice.
When we left, the thing that you learn the most is like the business side of it, right?
No question.
Like when we were here before, I was running socials and doing a show.
Right.
And then when you go, it's like, hey, we got to make money, right?
Yeah,
like
you in
it's
charge of
a
everything.
business.
Yeah.
And over the last 2 years, like we learned the business side. We were making money. We were doing that, and it was like, okay, now we understand that game. We can come back, and when we had the opportunity, it was like, now we're basically just forging together, and it's like, all right, now we have an even bigger powerhouse.
And y'all thrived while y'all was away. Y'all getting to go to the draft and combine and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was-
dope, bro. You got to
Thank
meet
you.
and talk to NFL people. Like, y'all made the right decision, bro. Y'all did.
Shout out KG, man. You're the
Nah,
real
much
one.
love, bro.
Yeah,
Much
I
respect.
appreciate that, bro. Let's Freddie Felt, mailbag. I'll see you in the studio on Friday.
Let's go, Freddie.
You're welcome.
Hey, my
Yeah.
boy Freddie Felt coming
I know
down.
Freddie wanted
Yep.
Buddy's pizza, so I think Friday we
Yeah,
had to
Freddie,
get some
Freddie
Buddy's
my dog.
pizza
We got to
for
treat
lunch.
him right.
Yeah, you
He
got
unofficial Woodward. So.
Yeah.
you got a spot here, Freddie. You come and hang with the boys here. Dad's Wrestling Show mailbag. When are we going to get Klotz on the show?
That's a good question.
We got to get him here. At
Yeah,
some
I'm
point.
sure.
Just an
Klotz
appearance.
is going to pop on.
Just
Don't
an
worry.
appearance,
Because
man.
he's maybe the.
Get
well,
him
I don't
on
wanna
V-Mix
reveal
or
it.
something.
We'll have something planned for Klotz.
Yeah.
He's too. He has. The takes he says. We need to hold him accountable, and he's got a lot of them. So yeah, definitely. We still talk to Klotz. I was just going at him this morning in our group chat.
Yep.
Eduardo said, who farted? We'll start with this one. Mailbag, is Flannel ever going to make an appearance again on Woodward, or has that ship sailed?
Yeah. It's a tough question.
I hope.
I would assume not, but yeah, that's just me though.
This is where we can't really speak on this because we weren't here when Flannel left. I don't know.
Well,
you can speak on this.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. It'd be great if he did because I love Flannel.
Yeah,
one
we
of
all
the
do.
hardest working people that do this seriously. He's well studied. He just let his emotion kind of speak up for him a lot. That's all. But the way things kind of left, I don't really foresee it. But you never know. I mean, ownership. You never know. Don't never say never.
I'll tell you what about Flannel hosting a show with him on Saturday morning.
Yeah, the weekends. Yeah.
That he is one of the smartest sports minds. He challenged me every Saturday morning. I knew I had to come prepared because he's not just a stats guy. He's incredibly opinionated and he's one of the more talented guys.
Yeah,
there's
I've
no
worked
doubt.
with. Shout out Flannel.
I was glad when he actually got the break from Woodward because the shit that he had to deal with here, like it was a lot, bro. Between the chat and shit going on behind the scenes, like it was a lot, bro. So like I'm happy for him.
Yeah, he hosted a show with him for a while, man. That guy, I told you when you were doing the show with him, Caleb, I was like, you come prepared.
No, yeah.
Because if you're not ready, he'll get your ass.
Flannel don't play. He's willing to crash out for his point.
When we were having him on crunch time, I would just purposely just make sure I threw some things at him to get him going a little bit.
Yeah, but some of my funnest moments was working with Flannel on the Wake Up Woodward show. So man, big shot. Much love for Flannel. He texted me when Michigan won the Natty in basketball. Man, that was a good moment because we sat through a lot of the previous regime and it wasn't fun. So
Flannel's a legend, man.
Will.i.am says, Milbag, who will be the comeback player of the year coming off an injury?
For NFL, I don't know. I haven't really. That's a weird.
Is it a Lions question or NFL?
I don't know. If it's NFL, it's weird because I really don't know like who was injured last year. Like Micah, but when does he come back? I don't know. That's always a weird award to me. Is comeback player of the year? Because dude, there's been guys who haven't been injured that have won it, and then there's guys like Joe Burrow who has won it like multiple times. But it's Joe Burrow. Like, why is Joe Burrow winning comeback player of the year?
It's a narrative award.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you
Much
should
like
expect,
Coach of the Year.
even if he got hurt, it's like you should expect him to be playing at an MVP level. So it's like, who's beating him out for that award?
If you're a multiple-time comeback player of the year winner, I'm not sure that's a good thing.
How is that even possible? That's supposed to be a one-time award. Like,
I'm gonna look it up. I think there's multiple.
That's actually fair. I mean, if you're winning, at that point, you're just like, let me see how many I could stack up.
Joe Burrow has 2 of them.
That's insane.
Dude, I mean,
he's getting hurt.
Dude,
you should be disqualified from ever winning it again.
Christian McCaffrey won it this last year, but it's like it's Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
I think it should be reserved for like players who are like a real comeback.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Well, the definitions get hurt, come back, play well.
Joe Flacco won it over DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah,
Hutch definitely.
Hutch could have won it, but they didn't give it to him for some reason.
Well, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you all. Before you leave, hit the like button on the stream. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 to 1 p.m. Check out Braylon and Anson, the guys. Speaking of the family, Woodward Heavyweights as well. Shout out Spenny, Easy. They're
Shout out
crushing
the boys,
as well.
man.
They'll be on for the rest of the day, but from crunch time, we are checking out. We'll catch you tomorrow, 11 a.m.
guys.
Peace.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.